theory creaking open, baby.
Yo, welcome to the screen where the plot gets bent. Julie B deep dives, not just for content. She don't react, she dissects those threads from the lens, catching clues y'all missed when the credits end. What you know about freeze framing frames and while you blinking, she building an evidence drum. Got a notebook thicker than the lore itself, and a chat full of nerds with a mental health shelf. Yeah, she sees the glitch, peep the double cross. You just watching TV, she talk to the boss. Every theory and thesis, no throwaway guess. While y'all on season 1, she in season 8. Said rewind and slow it, zoom in, enhance. Julie B caught the symbol in the window glance. While you tweeting what just happened like a clown, she already made a flow chart, color-coded breakdown.
They don't die like us, they don't vibe like us. They binge and they bounce, we revive that trust. They skip intros, we wear frame. You watch shows, we decode the game. They don't die like us, nah, they don't die like us.
She cracked Severance before y'all knew it was deep. Predicted the Last of Us deaths in her sleep. When the camera pans, she ain't blinking once. Catch a ghost in the glass, call it theory punch. Watch parties lit like apocalypse nights. Call-ins while they bringing alien rights.
Hey Julie, I think the trees are spies. Well, I have a spreadsheet that confirms that, guys.
Zoom in, boom in, she moving through clues. Spinning Discord in the courtrooms, Lord of views. Got mods with receipts. Time stands with heat. Every rewatch turns into a Reddit elite. You stuck on the surface, we beneath with maps. Cross-referencing lore with the rector's caps. If your fave show got secrets, don't be dumb. Julie got the chalkboard out from's where it's from.
They don't dive like us, they don't vibe like us. They skim the edge, we inside that crust. They zone out, we zone in the pain. You say plot twist, we say nope, chain. They don't dive like us, nah, they don't dive like us. What's that?
That ain't a blooper, that's a plot thread. You thought it was a shadow? She thought it was a coded message from season 3. And she's probably right. Step this way if your mind's unbent. Step that way if your theories pay rent. Say Julie B, deep dive queen. Now zoom, scroll, theorize, pull. Ain't no rabbit hole safe once she got the cloud.
They don't die like us.
Hey, welcome is an extra special edition of From the Man in Yellow Storytime with Doug, because we have awesome news that From is officially filming now. We got word of that within the last few days, so the rumors were true, and season 4 is now filming, which is amazing. It's what the fandom needed. People were getting antsy, waiting for some news, so super excited about that. Thanks for being here as always, Doug.
My pleasure, as always.
And of course we've got a packed panel here to start with. Anyway, yeah. we've got Scarlet and Pandecolima, and our friend Grant joining us for at least for now until he can go to work. Thanks for joining us, Grant.
Happy to be.
I'm thankful every time I play that video. I'm thankful for it. Like, I'm just so thrilled with that intro. You have no idea. It could not be perfect. It's awesome. So hope everybody's doing well tonight. This is a call-in live. So if anybody has a question or a comment that you want to say to Doug, you can come on for a few minutes and yeah, I already put the link in the chat, but I just have to go over and pin it at the top, so you'll be able to find it easily. It'll be there. Don't be shy. We don't bite. This isn't the real Man in Yellow here. Your throats are safe.
For now.
There's no need to be shy. Just me. He said, hello, I can't stay, but just wanted to say hi. Hi, if you watch this on the replay, just me. Always nice to see you. And Kelly. Nice to see you, Kelly. Hey there, Dieter. Good morning. I'm going over to pin that link so that people can find it and it doesn't get buried. Just give me a sec. And Tabitha. Hey, Tabitha. Nice to see you. With Alice says, I can't stay too long. I'm probably too tired to stay awake, but wanted to say hello. Well, always nice to see you with Alice. Oh, yeah, and I moved. I thought I moved the start time to 10:25, but I guess I forgot. Oops. Sorry, guys. I meant to actually change it for real, but I forgot that part. Oh, Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly. Nice to see you. Robert. Hey, Robert. My friend. Nice to see you. Let's see if I can highlight it. There we go. Nice to see you, Robert. So I'm going to pin that link. Zaptin Kaboom. Welcome. Oh, there's Alexis. Hey, Alexis. I bet she's going to be really drowning in orders, I think, as season 4 approaches. Like now that her shop is getting more known, she's going to have a wait list like backed up. So if you people out there, if you want to get a crochet doll from Alexis, now might be the time before everyone starts putting in their orders. She'll be backlogged for a while.
Well, the last I heard, Alexis, you had a 6-month waiting list. I'm wondering if it's any shorter now, or if in fact it's still the same or longer even.
Yeah, it could be. It could be even longer. She had a brief time where she was taking orders again, but I guess it's a waiting list. No, again now. Hey, Doc. Nope, it's the same version. Same version. Just yeah. Let's see. Nice to see you, by the way. Just the usual awesome intro. Hey, Rose Jones. Nice to see you. And Bill Chill. It's cool to see some of these folks were just in Tony's live chat. When I was out right before I went on my walk, I looked over there and I said hi to some people, and it's so cool. Like a lot of you folks probably found me because of Tony, which is amazing. Like Carla, for example. Good day,
yes,
Carla.
Carla, Ticanis.
What is that?
I don't know if she actually speaks Greek, but that's definitely a Greek surname. So.
Yep, she married a Greek man, so she might know some Greek through him.
Well, I just said hi, how are you? So that she probably knows that much.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure she does. That's
unfortunately most of the Greek that I know is profanity, but that's what happens when you work with a bunch of Greek guys in a submarine shop.
I remember
quoting Shakespeare as a rule.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, in French class, we actually learned some French swear words. Those are fun. It's always fun
Doug,
to learn.
do you have any favorite Greek swear words? A favorite
one? Well, there's a phrase that is kind of one of my favorites, just because it was hard to learn how to pronounce properly. And I won't translate it because it's really rude, but the phrase is "Litse mouton archeria." And any Greek speakers on here, they'll know what that means. And they'll probably be leaving in droves too.
Yeah.
Stata is eat shit, by the way.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's funny, like when I worked there for like 6 months, and all they ever called me was Malaka, and Malaka is Greek for jerk off. I thought it was Greek for Doug, because like that's all I heard for 6 months. Emma Malaka.
Oh no!
When did you find out?
Oh, pretty quickly.
Hopefully it wasn't months, and you're like, oh no.
Because the Greeks in particular, like they don't talk about masturbation making you go blind or crazy or grow hair on your palms or anything like that. They think if you're clumsy, if you drop things, that kind of thing, they always say, too much malakia, eh? You're jerking off too much. Oh yeah, I used to hear that all the time.
If anything, it should improve your grip.
Oh,
you think so?
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun learning swears in other languages, and then when you think about it, it's kind of funny because like they're just words. It's just a collection of syllables, and so you could be swearing in another language. It means nothing to you, but people in that country would be clutching their pearls. It's just a collection of letters. How do we decide which things are profanity? Like how did that even come to be? I always think about stuff like that.
Hey, Julie, do you know any
yeah.
French swears? They probably sound beautiful.
I know merde, that one.
Oh, merde. I know what that is.
Well, instead of saying fuck off in French, you say va chier, which means go shit, you know?
It's a similar thing in Brazilian, Portuguese. They don't like the word shit. Like if we drop something or do something, we go, oh shit, you know, that doesn't mean that they say the word come, which is really weird. You know, when they're angry, they'll throw something like, ah, come. You're like,
oh yeah. That's a colorful one. Wow.
And they use it in everything.
Really? So Dieter is asking how we're all doing. I'm doing okay. I've been doing pretty rough because of the heat wave. I think it makes pain worse, but I'm hanging in there, and the heat wave will be over tomorrow. So let's go around the panel then. Dieter's question: how are you today, Doug?
I'm good. Thanks. Had a good day today.
You've been bike riding even in this crazy heat.
Well, it was a funny thing, you know, the last 2 days, I assumed I wasn't going to be able to get out because I thought it's just going to be too hot. And it's never fun when it's really hot like that. You know, it's kind of okay while you're traveling because, you know, you create your own air conditioning. But the minute you stop, it's like somebody came up behind you and threw a bucket of warm spit over your head. You know, you're just like immediately soaked and uncomfortably so. But actually, yesterday and the day before, I went out before noon. Had a great ride, and the bike path that I use here is right along the lake shore. So it's easily 10 degrees cooler than the rest of the city because it's right beside the water. And yeah, yesterday and the day before were like great rides, you know, and I got home before it got too nasty. And then I was here inside my lovely air-conditioned condo. So it's all good.
What was I think the hottest that it got for us was 100 degrees Fahrenheit and 106-degree heat index yesterday. What was your hottest day, Doug, over there?
With the heat index, the highest, we call it the humidex here, the highest was about 115 degrees, and I've never seen that before in my life. You know, you'll occasionally get things in the low hundreds with the humidex, but I've never seen 115. That was insane.
Hey nuts. Doug, do you have cottonwood around in Canada, around Toronto, like the pollen, like that floats through the sky like snow?
Yeah, if it's what I think it is, yes. And it's right around this time of year. In fact, one of the other bike paths that I ride on, I was riding there last week and saw a ton of that floating out of the trees.
Yeah, it's around here. It's almost like snow on the ground. I think it's really affecting my sinuses and my sanity. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. That might be what's causing my sinuses to act up because my nose has been running like a tap for the last few days.
Yeah. I figure you can see so much of it. What do you see that you're like swallowing or it's getting up your nose or what in your eyes? I had some fly right in my eye.
Yeah. And I have to be careful when I'm on my bike or you end up inhaling a lot of that stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you're on a bike.
Oh, Dieter's put down a lovely selection of French swear words here.
Okay.
Get after dark.
Yeah, they shut up there. There's son of a
bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Son of a whore, really.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. You can always count on Dieter to make things spicy in the chat there.
Yes. We're our usual erudite selves tonight, aren't we?
Yes.
There she is.
Anybody want to donate more languages with swear words in them?
Well, I can swear in a number of languages. I can swear beautifully in Serbo-Croatian.
Oh, nice.
I can say a few things in Serbo-Croatian. I can say jedi govno, which is Serbian for eat shit. I think I told this story on here once. I used to work in this menswear store in the Eaton Center, this big mall in downtown Toronto. And I had this boss, her name was Mariana. She was a couple of years younger than me, and she was the assistant manager there. Beautiful young woman, you know, really on the ball, very smart, and one of the worst bosses I ever had in my life. She used to drive me crazy. And she was Serbo-Croatian, like her family was anyway. as was my agent at the time. And so one day I just had my fill of her, and I was in seeing my agent, and I said, what is the worst thing you can say to somebody in Serbian? Like, what is the most insulting profanity you could say? And he thought for a bit, and he said, okay, here it is. Kurec ti u guzicu ko od mačke glava, which is Serbo-Croatian for a dick up your ass the size of a cat's head. So I went into work that day, and I said to my boss, I said, hey, Mariana, guess what? My agent's Serbo-Croatian too. He taught me how to say hello. Check this out. Kurec ti u guzicu ko od mačke glava. And she went, that doesn't mean hello. And I'm like, what?
Oh my God, that's amazing, Doug.
Yeah. The Slavic languages seem to have like really florid, profane terms in them, you know, like they get really colorful. Russian is the same, although I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Indian has a lot of colorful ones where it's not an actual vivid insult. It's more about a character. Like I can't remember which one it is, but it's basically saying all the men in your family are unemployed, and it's a really big insult.
Arabic is like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mother's stew sucks. You're like, oh man, this guy wants war.
Carla said, how about Filipino, Doug? Like Filipino swears or something? I don't know.
Don't speak a word of Filipino, I'm afraid, Carla.
Dirty peck.
Balut.
Yeah, balut with the dirty peck.
Mm-hmm.
Ask.
Alexis said, stay tuned for tomorrow. I just finished season 3 Jade, posting tomorrow. Oh wow, a season 3 Jade, so caveman Jade. Nice.
Like the one in your picture there, Alexis.
All right, we'll be watching for that. And if you want to get one of Alexis's dolls, get on the wait list anyway. You can send her a DM at her Instagram page that Dieter dropped in the chat there. And how's everybody else doing, by the way, to answer Dieter's question? Scarlet, Grant, and Carl?
Yeah, living the dream.
Scarlet, you good?
I was at summer camp teaching kids about turkeys, and then I think I got heat stroke, so that was fun.
Oh, damn.
But they learned about turkeys, and that's what counted.
Another day in the life of Scarlet.
Yep.
I'm doing fine, trying to stay dry. It's been nothing but raining over here in the great state of Iowa.
You're in Iowa City, Carl?
Well, what was that, Doug?
You're in Iowa City?
I'm not in Iowa City, but I'm in north west Iowa.
Oh, okay.
As far as from civilization as I can be.
In a cornfield. Or the turkeys.
Yeah, right next to the soybean field, next to some pigs.
But no turkeys.
It's a lot like Southern Ontario, actually, when you get out into farm country.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Woods.
I was going to say, it leaves you with your thoughts, literally, you know?
Actually, the Stratford Festival, the big, theater festival in Stratford, Ontario, that area in southwestern Ontario is like, Stratford is absolutely surrounded by pig farms. So, it's amazing how often this town that is devoted to culture is just absolutely redolent with the aroma of pig shit.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the greatest thing ever. We had a few like pig farms near us, and all it takes is a little bit of wind to go the wrong direction, and it ruins your week.
Oh yeah, it's nasty. And the trucks driving the pigs are going up and down those highways all the time. So
never go behind one when they're going uphill.
Yeah. I hear you.
I'll smell it by the end of it. My God.
Yeah.
Cows are worse. Cows are the worst.
Yeah, in Michigan, they're always putting manure on the fields for a few the cornfields, and it's like super strong for a couple of weeks. It's just permeates everything.
Rose Jones said Tony ended his live by promoting this one. Thank you so much. And I see Tony in the chat too. Yeah,
Hey,
I see him in the chat. Tony, thank you so much. That was really kind of you. What up, Tony? Thank you so much. I mean, so many of these awesome people found my channel because of Tony, and then he just did his first From live in a while, so that was cool. I'm so glad you're doing lives again, and I hope you keep it up regularly. That's great. And it's awesome to see interest in From finally going up again with the news that it's filming, and so thank you so much for. I would have been in the chat more, but I had to do my walk right before this live. I listened to as much of it as I could, and so I really appreciate your support, my friend. Thank you.
I wish I'd known that was happening tonight, Tony. I could have come on and learned something about season 4.
Yeah, you should like connect and do another live over there. Yeah, they were just talking about like season 4 predictions and stuff. Had a good turnout too. Let's see, we've got some more people here who showed up. Real Cinema Therapy, Lori, nice to see you. Ryan is here. Nice to see you, Ryan. And let's see, we got Trace. Hey, Trace, where are you? Trace says, hey, Doug.
Hey, Trace.
And let's see, I saw something else that I was going to highlight. Oh, hey, Jay Sleek. Another person who found me through Tony's channel. Samuel. I've never had Filipino food. I've never had a lot of types of food, actually. But
yeah, my friend married a Filipino lady, and we had a few dinners over there, and yeah, some of their stuff is absolutely delicious. Some of it's hotter than I was expecting, but yeah, it's opened my eyes up.
Yeah, I can't tolerate that kind of stuff, hot stuff. So I have a call-in link. It should be pinned to the top of the chat now. So anybody who wants to call in with a question or comment for Doug, you're welcome to do so. And nothing to be afraid of. Trust me. It's no different than calling a phone number. You're just clicking a link instead, and you can turn off your camera, so you don't have to be on camera. What else here? Tabitha, sorry you're not feeling well. I saw something. She said, I miss you all so much. Sad, I'm feeling yucky. Oh, sorry, Tabitha, feel better. Sorry to hear that. Dieter was asking you, Doug, if you have a theory about the talismans and the symbols on it. Any ideas?
Don't actually. The only thing that sprung to mind for me, well, a couple of things really, because if you read Alexander Pym, the what's his name, Edgar Allan Poe novel, there's a bit late in the book where they end up in these caves and they find these rocks that at first they think have just fallen out of the wall, and then they've discovered that they've been chipped out of the wall and there are carvings on them, if memory serves me right. And I remember seeing some theories about how the talismans were sort of connected to that bit in Alexander Pym. I have no idea if that's true or not, but having read the book, there is a certain similarity. I don't know. When I look at those markings, they just look like Nordic runes to me. And I've seen a lot of people mention that too, but I don't really have a theory about it, to tell you the truth.
They definitely look like Nordic runes. I think they must have based the symbols on Nordic runes, and yeah, I think it just, well, in terms of what the symbols are, you have a sun on one side and a moon on the other, and a stick figure person on either side as well, going with the sun and the moon. So I think it just represents this cycle of first of all, immortality that these creatures have been condemned to, and also the way that it all works. At night, they come out and they rip people up, and that by day they have to sleep. They're controlled by that. I don't think they have any say in it. It's just this is their fate. They've been cursed like this. So, but I don't know. I tend to think that it's more the talismans work as more of a game situation rather than magic, but But I don't know. It could go either way.
Yeah, I think it's a good theory. I think it doesn't physically stop them. It's just they're playing by the rules at the moment, and the rules say that when they've got that, you can't do that, and maybe at a later stage the game changes. Who knows? But I like to think that they're actually meaningless. That they could, that they weren't actually safe the whole time, because that's way more terrifying than having a magic rock that prevents them.
Yeah. I think so too. I think like based on the way everything is going, it's more like a game. The way that the monsters operate, like the talisman has to be up on the wall. If it falls down, it's just a rock. It has to be hanging near the door. Everything seems to operate like a game. But anyway, Dieter had another question for Doug. Is there a certain role you look forward to do in your life, or that you would like what's a role that you would like to play? A type of role, maybe that one that you haven't done?
Most actors have an answer for that question. I don't really. I can't think of one off the top of my head anyway that's come along that I, it's like, oh God, I'd love to play that role someday. I've had a few roles like that fall in my lap. I've actually got to play a few. But they weren't things that I sort of knew beforehand that I wanted to do. They were just things that I landed and went, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm so glad I'm getting to do this. One of them, of course, being From.
Yeah, which is amazing. And it happened for you that when the time was right. Yeah. I love that you got that second chance, and now it's such a pivotal thing. I mean, this is I think that the Man in Yellow mystery, that's the thing that people are going to be talking about most going into season 4, wondering what's going to happen. So of all roles to kind of land in your lap like this, it's really amazing. It's going to generate so much buzz and debate and theory crafting. So
speaking of theory crafting, I put a post on some of the From fan pages the other day. I don't know if you saw it. I'm going to see if I can share it on here. I just got to find it. Here we are. This is the picture. Can you? I'm not sure. I've hit present and it's showing here underneath you. I don't know how to get it up. Here it is. And the caption that I put under the picture is rare photo of a young girl, a young From fan, busy theory crafting.
I love it. Wild, because it's a wild goose chase.
Pretty much. Indeed.
Quite literally.
I cannot see it. I cannot see.
You can't see it, Scarlet?
Yeah, I can see it.
Nope, I can't see it.
That's weird. Well,
yeah, I can see it.
It's an awesome picture too. You got there's seagulls, swans, and of course Canadian geese.
Yeah, lots of them. There are a bunch here in Toronto that live here all year round, and they're protected. They've all got little serial numbers attached to their legs, and they live along the lakeshore all year round, right through the winter.
Yeah, they're like that here too. They've all got little bracelets around their legs, so they're protected here too. We have loads of them. I love in the spring going looking for the baby goslings, and it's just adorable. I have a video of a mother goose sheltering a whole God, I don't even know. I think I counted at least 8 or 9 baby goslings underneath her wings. Somehow she fit all of them under there. It's the cutest thing. I just
posted a picture on Instagram the other day when I was out on my bike ride. There's this area called the Leslie Street Spit. I was talking about it on one of our earlier live streams. And there's tons of wildlife out there. In fact, I saw a huge snapping turtle the last time I was out there. But about a week or two ago, there are tons of geese right now walking around with their kids. And they're no longer, well, I guess they're still goslings, but they're like teenagers, But I passed a family where the parents were feeding the kids and got a good shot of them, actually, which I wouldn't know how to find right now. But yeah, there are millions of geese around here.
Yeah, I bet. Dieter dropped the link to Tony's book. Check out Tony's book, Darkest Before the Dawn, right there. There's a link. You can order it either an e-copy or a physical copy on Amazon. And Tony has a question for you, Doug. Dougie Fresh, my man, have you ever watched The Gilded Age? Its cast is mostly play actors. They say it's better because play actors are more aware of being an ensemble. What do you think?
It's a bit of a generalization, but I think there's a measure of truth to that. I've never seen the series myself. But I mean, you know, like ensembles can develop in TV series too. Think of things like, you know, Cheers and Friends and Big Bang Theory. I mean, that becomes very much like an ensemble theater group. So I guess it depends on the nature of the show. But I think if you took a bunch of theater actors who'd never been on TV before and put them into a situation like that, they would feel very much at home because of the word's gone right out of my head now, the ensemble aspect of it, you know?
Yeah. I've never seen that one either, actually. A lot of people do jump. I see people jump from theater to TV, though. You know, like I have a second cousin who was he broke out in Broadway, the first production of Spring Awakening, and now he's, you know, He's in movies, he's in TV shows. Jonathan Groff, he's my second cousin. He starred in the original Spring Awakening on Broadway, and yeah, he made the jump to TV shows and movies, and he was in
not the original Spring Awakening, because Spring Awakening's been around for over a century. But,
but like the one
Broadway
your cousin's old then. Wow.
Yeah, the Broadway one that took off like crazy in the 2000s. That one. Yeah. And then he was on Mindhunter. Yeah, he's done some pretty big roles. Unfortunately, I didn't get to know him because he lived 7 hours away in Pennsylvania. But my mom and his dad were our cousins. Anyway, so I saw a question. Robert, for my friend Robert here, he said, "Has Doug been given a filming schedule as of yet?" Doug?
I'm still on hold, Robert. So
yeah, so not yet. Some of the people are filming, but so we've seen now images of Liz Saunders outside her trailer. Simon Webster, and I heard Hannah Jeremy also, who plays Julie, but I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, that one was this morning. I saw that one.
Yeah. So I think, they're going to be filming for months. So, I mean, we have no idea like when Doug's going to be called. He's just on hold at the moment. They only just started, and I think I heard they might film as late as November. So
they may. I mean, they're still saying that they're going to be. At least I've seen stuff online saying they're planning to film right up into the holidays. So basically, the end of the year.
Wow. That's a long filming schedule. Yeah.
I guess it depends how long it takes. You know, like some episodes are more complicated than others. They take longer to put together, but I don't know.
Yeah. So it could be. We have no idea when Doug will be called out there to do it. Obviously, the main cast would be there, the ones who are going to be there the most, like Donna. Obviously Liz Saunders is in most episodes. Simon Webster. Simon is looking taller than ever. His picture outside his trailer. Oh my God, he went through another.
I thought they must have replaced him at first. I'm like, wait, no, what happened?
Yeah, he's sprouted up even more. So this
even a bigger jacket.
Yeah, they're gonna have to hide him under a jacket that's a few more sizes too big, like they did in season 3. I think they're doing a time jump. That's one of my predictions for season 4. I'm gonna make a few videos with my predictions, and that will help deal with the fact that he's grown so much, because I think they will jump ahead to whatever time future Julie is from. We'll start from there. And then we can keep Simon. Obviously, they're not recasting him. He's on set, so that's good. and we don't want him to get killed off. That would be horrible. So the time jump will fix it. That's what I'm predicting. But yeah, it's just exciting. You know, the From fandom is very thirsty for anything new, and so you throw us a bone, find out they're filming, it's enough to get people buzzing. Tony had like over 100 people in his chat, all excited, you know, because it's a big deal. We've been waiting for some kind of news, and so
hey, you think they're thirsty for news? How do you think I feel?
Yeah, you're waiting to actually find out when you have to, you know, uproot your life and fly out there for a while. So
I mean, I was a little surprised to hear that Sean Majumder still doesn't know if he's going back, let alone when. But given the fact that they're so tight-lipped about everything, I would be surprised if he's not in next season. There, you know, if they were going to get rid of him, I think that we would have to see that happen, kind of thing. You know, they wouldn't just like drop him because he still serves a function, I think, you know. But he's not going to know, I guess, until they get to an episode that they're planning to put him in. You know?
That's
it's not like they shoot an order either.
Right. That's true. But he said something specifically in Dieter's cameo. And Ryan, I see you back there. Just hold on one second. We've got a call in. Just one last thing on this point. Father Khatri, I mean, yeah, he may not appear in the first couple episodes based on what Sean said. He said to Dieter in his cameo that Father Khatri won't be in episode 1 or 2, if I remember correctly, which again, like Doug, that surprised me because he's been a real fixture on the show. He was on the season 3 premiere right off the bat, but hopefully they won't diminish his presence in the show because I think it's an awesome ingredient to the cast. Makes things really interesting, and his back and forth with Boyd. Those are some of the best scenes. The two of them have amazing scenes together.
And it could be that Boyd's not the focus of the first 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes might be Julie, and that's why they got to get those ones done before they do the rest of them, because it might be Julie's arc this season where it was Tabitha's last season. It could be that could be the direction that they're going, or they could be doing 2 timelines simultaneously, because we've seen a future version. That's an interesting way to play theory crafting as well. That'll make everyone's head explode if we get 2 simultaneous timelines at once.
Yeah. So we've got Ryan here calling in. Let's add Ryan.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, how are y'all?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Good to see you guys.
It's great to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I have a big audio delay like I did last time.
I don't think so.
Okay, great.
Sounds good.
Yeah, last time that was just crippling.
No, you're good. You're all set. You're good. You sound great, Ryan. So what's on your mind?
Oh, not a lot. Just wanted to stop in. It's been a while since I've been here. Just wanted to see how y'all are doing.
Doing well. How's the fan group going on Facebook?
Well, I don't know. So I unfortunately lost my Facebook account, Doug. Yeah, something happened. Some false reporting was going on, and my account got permanently banned. Yeah, and every time I try to create a new account, it gets what is it? I can't remember the term they use. Account integrity ban. So when I try to create a new account with a new email, I even do the whole selfie thing, and yeah, they still say no. You can't create a new account.
And this is one of the things about Facebook getting rid of their own fact check section and just putting it out there in the wild where anybody can, submarine somebody else by saying that they're posting stuff that isn't accurate. I mean, yeah. That it's just the Wild West now, like.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was just in the From chat group that we had just created, and I told Dieter to contact the admins and tell them you guys have to shut this chat room down, because that just let in all sorts of people that we can't really monitor.
Right.
And that's what happened is people were just falsely reporting, because there I was kicking people out of the group who were misbehaving, and so somebody had just decided that they were going to just falsely report me. And all this
had the same thing happen to me. Did I can hit me up and I'll show you a workaround. It's a real simple one. Same thing happened to me a few years back.
Well, I'm glad to hear there's a workaround at least.
Facebook refuses to take my actual information because they don't think I'm real.
Wow.
What the hell?
It's twice now.
This is crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
I miss that group terribly. I mean, that was my one of my Fromalies besides you guys. I put a lot of passion into that group, sharing my theories and connecting with the people and all of that. I really loved that group a lot. So it was really sad.
Workaround.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Mr. Grant Gregory's got.
Yeah, it's when I show you, it'll be very simple, and you'll be like, "Oh, I wish I kind of thought of that." Come on, Cameron, what are you doing? I'm not that fuzzy in real life.
Are you still sharing in that group, Doug?
Oh yeah.
Oh, great.
Just posted a new. I haven't put any pictures of the little guy up lately because I haven't had anything new to do with him. But I put a picture up today on most of the groups. So yeah.
Okay, I'm still checking you out on Instagram though.
It's on there too, actually. So you'll see the most recent one. I just put it up earlier today.
Yep. Yeah, that's about the only place I'm active now is Instagram.
Yeah. Well, that sucks, Ryan. I'm sorry that happened, but hopefully Grant can hook you up and get you back onto Facebook. Grant is extremely tech savvy, so I'm not surprised he would know how to do it. If anybody would know how, it would be Grant. He's the one who made my amazing intro for this live, so I'm not surprised, Grant.
That video, that AI rap video, just blew my mind. I have watched that so many times.
you wait till I do the full rapping one of Doug. He fully comes out as a man in yellow.
Oh no way! I can't wait. Yeah.
Oh, Ryan, it's awesome to hear from you, and I hope you can get back on there, and because you do an amazing job. We need kind people. Facebook can become such a cesspool. Unfortunately, social media can be a cesspool. We need more kind people like you there, not people like you getting tossed out of all things.
Well, that's the irony of this situation. There's so many scumbags on there, and it's all the nice people that seem to be getting booted out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that changes soon. And good evening, Shadow Skulk. Nice to see you. Alexis said the wait list isn't as long as it was last time. Luckily, I had a few people order multiples. Oh, nice. So you can get on her wait list. It's not that long yet. Now's the time to do it. If anyone wants an awesome crochet doll like my Jade, I need to get a mini man in yellow. That's what I need to get.
Do you do international shipping?
Yeah, Alexis, if you're still here.
Well, Alexis if she can ship to Canada, I don't see why she couldn't ship to Australia.
Well, I mean, you guys are connected via a road. There's a little bit more of a hike.
No, but I mean, it's not like trying to place an international phone call in the 1950s. It's a little easier than that these days.
Takes as long, but yeah.
Yeah. So Robert, Robert has a lot of interesting theories here. He said, well, we were talking about the talisman. He said there are 8 symbols that look like F's, and the season 3 art department video shows an aerial view of Cannibal Village. That's our nickname for the new village with the cabins, with 8 houses. Thus, F equals the original 8 families. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. That's an interesting take. See, he notices so many details. Interesting stuff, Robert. And he posted it in our From Academy channel too. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for sharing. It corresponds to the 8. I didn't realize there were 8 cabins. I have to see that video because in the show they don't show how many there are. So interesting stuff. And Dieter was saying, so the symbols don't really have powers. We don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating. Yeah, they look old, so the town is way older than we think. They look like they could be older than even the Puritan times, but I don't know. I think that the show is trying to imply that this started in the Puritan era with the Puritan visions appearing to Jade and Miranda's Puritan paintings. That's just my opinion, but
when did the buildings come in then? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, right.
Like, was there like a truck that was shipping a house or something, and they came in and then like, because at what stage do the, like, say for instance, if everyone left Fromville, would the next people that come in, would it be more modern? Would it be, you know, like maybe 90s decor instead of like 70s?
I've wondered the same thing too.
Well, I think what happens is the way I think about it, like in between cycles, at the end of every cycle, I figure there's a massacre. And when the town is empty, changes happen. New buildings manifest over time because clearly the buildings don't fit together. They're all different ages. There's the church, which looks like the oldest building. There's Colony House, which maybe is the second oldest. And then you've got the colonial style houses and the 50s style diner, 1950s diner. So it's a mishmash of things. I think they must have been added and manifested over time when no one is there, when everyone is wiped out.
Do you think the Frombies build them themselves?
Yeah, like a construction crew put on hard hats and.
Do you reckon they're unionized?
I think they just manifest, just poof, like chickens and goats in the woods. Yeah, it's funny to think about, though. Hey,
well,
SL Road.
The building that gets me is Boyd's office, because it looks exactly like a 1960s Canadian post office. You know, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that must have been a post office that was already there, or they bought one somewhere and shipped it in, because it looks exactly like the post offices I saw when I was a kid, you know?
And the hospital's a school.
Yeah, the hospital was a school. That's right. The bar was a gas station. The
motel was not a motel, just a pool.
The motel was like
that's a point for manifestation because they didn't complete it.
Yeah, they're in the middle of building the hotel, and then, you know, everyone started coming in and like, oh damn, we didn't get it done. Oh well, at least we got the sign up.
Yeah. Zulinator said, "Who's that Aussie bloke? Amazing accent, mate."
There you go, bud.
He does have an amazing accent. I love Australian accents.
I don't get what all you guys have accents. I don't.
Well, I have to lose mine then.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, sound a bit more like you.
Yeah, you're a bit further inland than me, but yeah.
Yeah. Nobody thinks they have a lot of people think, like, I don't have an accent. Everybody else does. You know, I don't, but everyone has one, even if we're not aware of it. Alexis, by the way, said yes. She ships to Australia. So she just can't take care of, like, if there are import fees and shipping costs that, you know, it depends on the country. Some countries have high import fees, like Belgium, I think does, but I don't know about Australia, Grant.
No, we don't tariff.
Oh, nice. So that wouldn't be too bad then. You could score one. Hey there.
Well,
Sorry, Doug. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, between the shipping, the duty, and the exchange rate on the Canadian dollar, this little guy cost me $580.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Not quite, but
Yeah,
it was considerably
every
more than
penny.
the price of the doll. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Worth
duty
every
that
loony, I
gets
should say.
you over here.
Mm-hmm. So, this is a name I don't recall seeing before. Thomas. I don't know how to. I don't want to butcher your name, but hi everyone. I've seen the first Big Reactions YouTube channel with 975K subs start reacting to From. Wow, how much of an impact could that have in the expansion of the show? Do you guys think it could start a chain where other big channels follow and start reacting to the show? Yeah, I do. And unfortunately, what happens sometimes to little smaller channels, like mine, what could happen is if some of these giant ones hop on it, then it'll be more difficult for people like me. But I think I'll be all right, because the Facebook algorithm, the YouTube algorithm knows me for From now. So I think if I keep putting out From content, I'll be all right. But if I were just starting, I'd be in trouble, because that's a lot of subs. 900. Wow, I didn't realize it was getting that kind of attention. But From is really taking off, I think. And I think that will have a great impact on the show in terms of how how much of a budget it might get for season 5. Like, if season 4, we see a huge bump in ratings and lots more people covering it, that's a great sign. That means we'll be most likely to get renewed for season 5, which I think that's what they want, is what I've heard. The rumor is they want 5 seasons. And then we could have an epic season 5 with a bigger budget. I think it can only be a good thing, more channels covering this show, including those really big ones, for sure.
Well, I seem to remember one of the interviews that I saw with John Griffin, and maybe it was Jeff Pinkner, the two of them together. They said that, yes, the original plan was for 5 seasons, but it could easily be more. That given the nature of how the story is developing, it could be 5 or 6 or 7, or God knows. So, I don't think the 5 seasons is a hard end to the thing.
Was that John Griffin that said that at some point, Doug?
It was John, and I think it was John and Jeff Pinkner who were doing an interview together, and they sort of said it collectively that they had sort of the basic framework for the 5 seasons all laid out before they even started. But like any sort of long-term project like that, new things develop along the way, and if it goes longer, it goes a little longer. The important point they were trying to make was that they know how it's going to end. But it isn't necessarily going to end in just 5 seasons. It could be 6, 7. A lot of that too, I imagine, is going to depend on ratings and how burnt out people get and all of that. But I mean, given the success and the popularity of the series, I can't see those things being a problem.
Because it's become more of like this has got like a post-show cult following, but during the middle of the show, which is a really weird thing to have. Like. Mm-hmm. There's people who, when you tell someone, I watch From, there's a genuine excitement with them. It's like this little secret as well. It's like years later when I was trying to tell my friends, you've got to see this series. It's called Firefly, and one of them had, and it was like the greatest thing in the world. But I'm seeing that with a lot of people who are watching From, and I think with some of the bigger channels, what's gonna happen is someone's gonna pile together like the best moments or the goriest scenes. And then it's gonna go viral, and then all the big channels are gonna start reacting to it, and then that'll get more people into it. Because I know people were reacting to the opening scene because someone did a video saying this is the scariest opening to a TV series ever, and they just sent it out to a bunch of their favorite reactors. So they were doing a whole heap of those back, I think, 2 years ago. So it was during the break between season 1 and 2. It was. So got a lot of people hyped for season 2.
Well, yeah. I remember I started sort of first looking into the popularity of the series after I shot my episode last year. And I remember there being a lot of buzz about how since the end of season 2, the series had become incredibly popular in places like Asia India, a lot of Arab countries. Like it was the worldwide popularity of it that was the big deal at the time anyway. And there were already back then was this sense of the momentum building, you know, and that's before season 3 had even come out. So
Yeah.
They need to do a global drop though for season 4, because I have friends in England that were like, we nearly finished it, and now we're only just starting it. Like,
yeah, we had that problem in our Facebook group. It's, you know, like content was being posted, you know, about the end of season 3, and people were like, you know, come on, we haven't even got it over here yet, and all these, you know, spoilers, you know. Yeah, that was kind of an issue we were having, you know, in our group.
I was very surprised when I learned that it wasn't released everywhere at the same time. I mean, I'd never heard of that before, of it being, you know, held back for different parts of the world. And I was shocked that, you know, England, for instance, didn't have it for months after we did.
Well, in season 2, New Zealand got it the day before everyone else.
Really?
Yeah, because because I use a VPN, so I get their a lot of the New Zealand streaming services. And on one of them, I'm just like, it's coming out on Sunday. Wait, this doesn't come out on Sunday. What's going on here? Sort of thing. And so it was just like, all right, I'm getting it, and then I'm looking online to talk about it, and no one's talking about it until the next day. 36 hours later. And then I realized that's what they did. They had, some of them had a slightly earlier release due to the time zones and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got to take off, guys. I will be back a little bit later. Grant and Gregory, I will talk to you.
Hit me up on Instagram, man. That'd probably be the best way. If that's what you're on. Yep.
I'll hit you up on Instagram about that Facebook workaround. Julie, Doug, it was awesome talking to you guys. I will see you guys soon.
Good to see you again, Ryan.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye, Ryan.
All right. See you,
Hey,
Scarlet.
Ryan.
Pandecolima.
Great to hear from you, Ryan. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye. And anyone else who wants to call in, feel free. The link is pinned at the top of the chat. Anyone is welcome to call in with a question or comment. Just want to hang out for. We already got one. We've got Dieter here. I'll add you, Dieter.
The goat.
Hello.
Hi, Dieter.
Hey, Dieter.
That was quick. So how's it going? How are you?
Yeah, I just had some work. Pretty good, better than the last few days. So a lot of improvement.
Good. Good. So what's up? What's on your mind?
Yeah, I wonder if Doug has like certain expectations for season 4.
Not really. I really don't. And you know, it's funny. I mean, this topic comes up a lot, and people are always asking me about, you know, what's going to happen next. Like, how do I feel, and what do I think is going to happen next? And I'm far more interested in learning more about the Man in Yellow's past than about his future. You know, my attitude is, I'll find out about what's coming when I need to find out. You know, and that's fine. I like the idea of being surprised as much as anybody else. You know, and Julie and I have done a little speculation on here about things they might possibly do, which is kind of fun, but I honestly don't spend much time thinking about that. I'm much more interested in learning more about where he came from in the first place.
Yeah.
And what do you think where the Man in Yellow comes from?
I don't really know. And you know, this is something that came up in like the very first interviews that I did after the end of season 3. And because people were asking me, you know, what was your take on the character? What did you think about this guy? And because there wasn't really anything in the script, there was no detail about that sort of stuff at all. No indication of where this guy was from. He's as much a mystery on the page as he is to people watching that season finale. You know, like there's nothing there to tell you anything about where he's come from. So I had to sort of decide that for myself. And all I could come up with was, okay, clearly this guy is sort of a different order of magnitude from the other monsters that we've seen so far, because Well, because, for example, of the simple fact that he shows up in the middle of the day, you know, and seems to have, now I guess all the monsters are pretty strong, but he has this superhuman strength, despite the fact that, you know, he doesn't grow claws and teeth like the other ones. He just throws people around like rag dolls. So there's that. It's like, okay, he's not human. He's some kind of other being. But how did he get to be what he is now? And the only thing I could think of is that you don't end up being that kind of character without having been severely damaged in some way along the way. And so that was the best that I could come up with for myself on the day when we shot the scene.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think so too. Yeah, Dieter. Yeah, don't you think? We're gonna see like how. I think we're ultimately going to have to see some type of background for the Man in Yellow. Maybe not till the final season.
I hope so.
It had to be this way, right?
David has just typed the word omnipresent in the chat, and that brings up another thing that did occur to me, of course, and that was, you know, the echo of the radio conversation at the end of the scene, with the Man in Yellow's last line to Jim. Obviously, you know, when I read that, I went, okay, obviously this guy is he knows what's going on with these people. He's plugged into everything that's going on here. So that was another clue as to who he was. But that was really it. You know, everything was inferred. It wasn't spelled out in any kind of way. So
I hope we learn all the more of the Man in Yellow this season, because we only saw him for like 47 seconds or something. And the Man in Yellow is such a mysterious character, so it can't wait. And then at times see.
Sorry, I couldn't understand any of that, Dieter.
No, sorry. Maybe it's a Wi-Fi.
You said that.
Sorry, go ahead, Julie.
I think he said, I hope we get to see more because we only got like 47 seconds or something. And I'm sure we'll get way more than 47 seconds in season 4. I think we can be pretty assured of that. Yeah.
And I guess if I had any hopes for season 4, it would be not that just I will learn more about where this guy came from, but the viewers will as well, you know. But who knows? I mean, this stuff is all like completely out of my hands and stuff.
Yeah. I doubt, like, you introduce someone like that, this is a game-changing thing. Nothing will be the same after this. I think the rules have now changed. The game, as it were, the sort of game that they're in has now changed. So I think we can pretty much guarantee, I mean, there are no guarantees, but I would bet money that we'll see more of the Man in Yellow than 47 seconds or 45 seconds or whatever the total screen time was that you had.
I believe it was 43, but let's not split hairs.
Yeah.
25.
Yeah, we'll
Something
get more than that.
In that range, anyway. You know,
we probably won't get my wish fulfilled, which is, you know, to have you show up in town as a regular guy, and then you get loads of screen time, and you're the new arrival, and no one knows that you're actually glamored and you're really the Man in Yellow. That's just my silly what is it, like tinfoil theory, but I don't think it's going to actually happen.
I loved the idea when you suggested it. I thought that's really cool, but the fatal flaw in that is that, you know, one of the geniuses of what they've created, or the genius aspects of what they've created, is that by and large, the audience knows as much as the characters do. Like, we learn things in real time with them. It's very rare that the characters in From are way ahead of us in terms of what they know, or that we get ahead of them in terms of what we know and they don't. I mean, there are bits of that because there are, you know, there's a dramatic advantage from time to time in giving the audience a little information that the characters in the story don't have. But by and large, in general, we're both, you know, actors and viewers discovering things at the same time. If you had the Man in Yellow show up in disguise in some way where the audience knew this and the cast didn't, that balance would be completely destroyed. And I don't think they would want to do that. You know, it's too intrinsic a part of the storytelling system that they've come up with.
Yeah. Yeah. David earlier had asked where Julie gets her haircut. There's no hairdresser shop in From. Based on that bad wig and Marielle having that track record of not giving the best haircuts in the world, I would say Marielle's going to be cutting Julie's hair. That would be my prediction.
The dye, that was the thing I was more interested in. Is like, is it grease or did they find old hair dye or something?
Yeah, I don't know. It looked, because it was darker too. It was not the same color either, so she dyed it as well. And I don't know, David. Yeah, maybe Julie gets out and comes back like Tabitha did. It's possible, but
that's what I thought. And then she dyed her hair in the meantime and got cut.
Could be.
You know, it's funny because I met Hannah on the day when we shot that. So every time I saw her, that's what her hair looked like. So I never questioned any of that, you know. I had only seen 4 episodes of the show before that, and they were from seasons 1 and 2. And I mean, that was far enough back that like I never even clocked the different hair at all. That was just Julie to me, you know.
So in person, did the wig come off better in person than it did to us on screen? Because all of us were saying like, that looks like a really fake wig.
I didn't know it was a wig. I just thought it was her hair.
Wow. Okay.
You know, I just met her. It's like I just thought, oh, okay, that's her hair. Like I never questioned.
Maybe it's just that, I don't know. We're not used to seeing her like that. So to us, it was like, oh wow, it's so obvious that's a wig. It's probably really not that bad in person. It was just unexpected. Scarlet?
I also thought it was made to make her look older. Like maybe there was a time jump, and she came back and she was older. Therefore, you know, a more sophisticated haircut, I dare say.
Well, I think it's pretty clear now in retrospect that yes, the wig was part of their trying to get the point across that she has come from a different time, you know. But on the day, like I might have thought it was a wig, but like I didn't have anything to compare it to, so I didn't question it at all. It was just like, that's what Julie looks like, you know.
A wig on a film set, how out of place.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like I just didn't give it any thought, really.
Yeah, not that strange. By the way, Amy says, hi, Doug.
Hi, Amy. Good to see you.
Yeah. And Kimberly, yeah, I've watched the movie blog. He's had some videos. He put out a video about the land being transported, the area in From being transported. He called it a patchwork of stolen locations. That's an interesting way to put it, because that's basically like what the buildings are.
Like
patchwork.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to think somewhere a tree fell down in front of a building and then the building's gone and it's now in From.
Yeah.
So like every time a tree falls down, something disappears.
Oh, interesting. That's cool. I like that, Grant. Yeah.
If you like the really weird, obscure theories, there's a guy called Dan Underscore. Only does from theories. And he's actually started posting again, thank God, because I love his content, because he'll give you the premise of his theory, and you'll be like, "There's no way in the world you're going to convince me of that." And by the end of it, you're like, "You know what? Maybe the trees are spies." Yeah, you know, it's kind of cool the way that he can weave it in, and it's not just throwing out random things. He's pointing to different parts of the things as proof. I mean, he'll do one episode why this makes sense, and then the next one it completely contradicts. So we know they both can't be right, but they both are plausible, and I think that's the key to a good theory, when you can make it plausible.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of his content, and it's great. Yeah, there's so much awesome From content out there. David, I agree. It's like there's a thin line between this dimension and reality, and things spontaneously appeared. Yeah, a thin spot, kind of like the veil between what could be a pocket dimension and the rest of the world. That's the way I look at it myself. And Zulinator, you don't have to worry about this, because they already debunked this. Zulinator said, I hope this series doesn't end up being like a purgatory-esque scenario By the way, I am a Sydney sider, so it's great hearing a fellow Aussie.
Oh, hope you're not an Esh, eh?
We've got a few Aussies. We've got Carla Way. We've got David Agile, also I believe is an Aussie. There are a bunch actually, and of course Miss J with you, Grant, too. But
I know a limerick about a woman from Sydney, actually.
What was that, Doug?
I know a limerick about a woman from Sydney. I think I might have told it on here once. I can't remember.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Would you regale us with that?
I'm pretty sure I did tell this one day because I remember you and I being together. I don't know. Maybe it was a private conversation, but okay, it goes like this. There once was a woman from Sydney who could take it right up to a kidney till a man from Quebec shoved it up to her neck. He had a long one now, didn't he?
I do remember that.
I love it.
I thought it had come up before. Yes.
I don't know. I just wanted to say limerick.
That's the
We've
problem
only got,
coming on here so often. I can't remember half the shit I've said before.
but we have a different assortment of people at different times too. So there are people. That's why sometimes we get repeat questions. Well, someone will come in and ask something that you answered before, Doug. But yeah. So don't worry about repeating yourself because there are always new people to enjoy it and to hear it again. And yeah. So as Zulinator, the showrunners debunked purgatory and dream. So it is not literally a dream. They're not asleep, and it's not purgatory. So no worries about that. I can reassure you on
about
that.
a coma.
What, Grant?
They didn't say anything about a coma.
No, they did not. They could be in a coma. Let's hope they're not. It's possible.
Well, and I think it's pretty safe to debunk that one as well because that's just as much of a cop-out as the dream or the purgatory scenario.
Yeah.
100%.
Or the whole thing's told through the story of a little autistic kid with a snow globe.
Don't say Elsewhere action. I love St. Elsewhere. It was a great show.
I did it till the ending because it didn't make any sense.
Yeah. That ending was infamous.
It was the same thing they did with like 30 Rock. The whole thing was just a pitch meeting. Yeah, it's just like, okay, that makes no sense.
The best ending to a series ever, I think, was the Bob Newhart last TV series. That was just.
I can't believe the dream I had.
Awesome.
The way you mean, like the Newhart. When Newhart ended, he woke up and he was with his original TV wife from the Bob Newhart show. And the whole show of him being an innkeeper in Vermont was just a dream. That was actually pretty genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
and since
totally
that was
taking the piss out of Dynasty in the process, you know.
And since that was a sitcom, I can accept that. If that happened in a drama series, it's all just a dream. That upsets me. But it's a sitcom. I can laugh it off. It's fine. Grant, were you going to say something?
Yeah, it's like Dallas when they brought what's his name back after being
Bobby,
sort of
Bobby
thing.
Ewing.
Yeah,
We're not.
Dallas,
not Dynasty. It was.
Yeah,
it was Dallas.
the last season of Roseanne where the husband died, and then they brought him back in the Connors, and then like it. Yeah, it was. I mean, that series timeline is it's got more time travel than Back to the Future in it. Alternate realities.
Terrible. Yeah, I hated that. There was some storyline where they won the lottery and
was that one. That whole last season, they won the lottery, and what happened was he had actually had a heart attack beforehand, and this was her writing down what she wants for a family. Because at the end of it, they got everything. She got the promotion and everything. They all found. The kids went to college. The sister found love. Everyone was happy, and the last thing was, that didn't happen. You know, I'm about to get evicted. Dan's been dead for this whole time, and see if we ever get rebooted.
I hated that. Yeah. Oh no, that's really annoying. But anyway, Robert had a couple things here. He said in the same interview that Doug was talking about, Pinkner clearly said that the answers of the big questions will not be revealed in the final season, aka Lost. I hope that, I don't know, I still have faith that they're going to answer like the most important, they're going to explain the most important mysteries. They may not answer every question, but I think we'll get enough answers that we'll be satisfied in the end. I have faith in the showrunners that they'll do that. And John Griffin, I think they're going to answer enough. Now, you never know. I mean,
Lost didn't answer any questions in the last episode. The last episode was just an action episode. Like there was no revelation.
Yeah, I heard that, and I mean, I think they're going to answer what they need to answer, and I mean, hopefully, I don't like open endings, but I know like David Lynch didn't feel the need to answer everything, so you never know.
He likes open beginnings, open middle, and open endings.
Yeah,
it's just like you fill in the rest.
Basically,
I love it. I love David Lynch.
Robert had a question for Doug here. Can you ask Doug if he thinks the man in yellow was the conductor of the original orchestra or families who sacrificed the children? That's an interesting way to put it, the conductor. What do you think, Doug?
Well, it's certainly a possibility. I have no idea, of course, you know. But that theory, I think, was one of the first ones that popped up after the season finished. And yeah, there's a lot of validity to that as a possibility, but who knows, you know?
Yeah. I have trouble coming up with a theory as to his, well, I have certain things that I'm thinking about, but I have a little trouble placing him in the timeline. He's such a wild card now. So I think it'll be easier once we see season 4 as that plays out. Maybe it'll be easier to start theory crafting, because Man in Yellow came out of left field. This was not a typical cliffhanger for the show. This was not something that it's easy to theory craft on. Tabitha wakes up in the hospital at the end of season 2. That's something you can theory craft on. Was this all a dream? Is this a simulation? What's going on here?
Why was it 2 reflections?
Right. Those are things you can theory craft on more easily. At the end of season 1, you hear the voice on the radio telling Jim, your wife shouldn't be digging that hole. That made people think maybe this is all an experiment. There are people watching them. That sounded like a human talking to him. So at least those were cliffhangers you could theory craft on a lot more easily. The Man in Yellow is just it's just kind of batshit crazy, for lack of a better term.
And to be precise, he actually came out of right field. I just thought I should mention that.
Yeah.
Screen.
I mean,
he was in the middle. Yeah,
if Tim was at home base, I was coming out of right field. So
That's true. Yeah, you were.
You should mention the radio, because that was not my reaction when I saw that scene. I thought the very first thing I thought when I heard that is, this is supernatural in nature. It's not. That's not some regular guy on the other end of this. That seemed crystal clear to me.
Yeah.
See,
but I think
wasn't even the whole part that freaked me out. It was when he went, "Oh, is this Jim?" Just like, okay, wait, what? Okay, so you know it's going to be Jim on there. Like that means you got to know Jim's voice. Yeah, to me that was like that, and also as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh, that's the bartender. Oh, I can't wait to see what they do with him in season 2. Oh, never mind.
But the whole idea of this being an experiment, like, I mean, that was a useful thing in terms of Randall's journey in the story. Them floating the idea and him going down that conspiracy theory rabbit hole. But as an actual theory of what's going on in the show, no, I just dismissed it. The first time I heard of that, I dismissed it outright. I thought there's no way.
It makes sense for Randall being, because he's clearly anti-establishment with everything. He's anti-authority, so he would assume that it's whoever's in charge doing this to us. Where I like to think that if there is a person that's in charge, it's not a supernatural thing that's watching it, that they've just happened to stumble across it and are helpless, but are just observing it. Like that could be an interesting take on it, where there's this phenomenon going on and there's these people that are just simply studying it as well.
Well, here's the thing about that. I mean, when you're creating a story like this, and this is the thing I love about Ethan, explaining the Chromonocle's journey and all of that. Like he's laying out the rules of the story. And the thing is, once you decide on what your story is going to be, there's an inherent set of rules that you have to stick to, because if you don't, you screw it up. And all of this stuff about, you know, it being an experiment, like a government thing and all that, just flies in the face of everything that's set up at the beginning. It is so clear from the first episode that what's going on here is supernatural in nature, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if this were an experiment, explain this to me. How could they possibly construct things so that when you drive out of town, you end up coming back into town without driving in a circle? I mean, how do they get the laws of physics to suspend themselves for those sorts of things?
My problem is they'll say something like, "Oh, this whole area was built on nanobots," or some throwaway thing. That's the thing that I don't like. I don't like it being technology. But if there was someone like that, that's how I could be like, okay, I get it. You aren't in control. You should just bystanders, and it is a supernatural sort of thing. Like it has to be, as you said. Like when they go past just simple little things that are on there that just any sort of technology that could be made to do that would be world changing. Yet they've got 10 to 15 world changing bits of technology just to torture 24 people in a town. Doesn't make any sense.
And you know, let's look at the example of Smiley. They kill him off, and he gets reborn after emerging from Fatima's body. I mean, what technology is going to make that happen?
Carnivore diet, because you're just eating blood, you know.
No, it's insane. It's a ridiculous idea, and this brings up a point. Yeah, there are a lot of questions that may not be answered at the end of the series, but a lot of these questions aren't necessarily intended to be answered. You know, that's not where their focus is. It's more about the journey that these people are going through. And they're not necessarily going to have to explain why these people seem to have an adequate supply of toilet paper, for instance. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, if you'll pardon the expression, who gives a shit? You know, it's not important. It really isn't. And so a lot of these things that we as viewers get hung up on, the storytellers aren't necessarily concerned about that stuff. I guarantee you that however they end the series, it will have a very satisfying conclusion, that there will be a sense of things wrapping up. That doesn't necessarily mean that all of the questions you've had throughout the series are going to get answered along the way.
And to that point, Doug, I was talking to someone and I was trying to explain to him why I think that we're going to be left a little bit open-ended and why it's okay. I said, do you like the movie Groundhog Day? And I said, yeah, I love it. I said, how did that work? And he went, well, I don't know. I said, well, you don't know how it works, so therefore it's taken away from the movie. He went, no, it doesn't. I said, I think this is what it is. It's not about how or why. It's what happens in there. It's a story about the people.
You just said it right there. That's the thing about the series that really jumped out at me when I started watching it, and that hooked me more than anything, and that is the people. Just the complex assortment of people that we've got to begin with, and the fascinating individual journeys they're all going through as a result of this trauma that they're suffering. You know, that's the hook in the series for me, more than anything. And I think ultimately a lot of people would say, yeah, when it comes right down to it, I guess I'm more concerned about the fate of these people than anything. And that question, I'm absolutely confident will get answered. That whatever their fate, we're all going to learn what it is ultimately, whether it's a good or bad one, you know. And that's really the central question for me that needs to be answered, and I'm confident that it will be.
And the only other question that I'm really, really concerned about is how the writers are going to screw over Kenny in episode 2. Because Kenny cops it in the first 2 episodes every season. He loses his dad, his girl, and then his mum. Like, what's he got left? I mean, can we give Kenny a win? Just this one?
He'll be in a relationship with Acosta, and then she'll die somehow.
I was going to say, I don't think he's lost his virginity yet. So there's that.
Oh.
You know.
Yeah.
Casa
Trudy's not around anymore, so there goes
Tony's still listening. He's having a heart attack right now.
Yes, he is. Well, this is how they can hurt Kenny. They can finally throw Tony a bone, give him a little reward for building up the fan base from day one, and Acosta can cheat on Kenny with Tony. That's how they'll screw over Kenny.
I think Acosta's going to hook up with the man in yellow in season 4. That's what I think.
Oh yeah.
Or if they listen to any of your ideas, the writers, that is,
What's that?
I said, or if the writers listen to any of your ideas, it'll happen.
Oh,
no! Instead of ripping a throat out, how about we?
They're not listening to any of my ideas. Trust me, they're not.
Anyway, Julie, I've got to take off though.
You got to head out, Grant?
Yeah, I got to get ready for work. So
okay. Well, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having us. Love having a chat with everyone. It was good to finally be able to catch up, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm currently working on my own theory on the talisman. So that should be out hopefully pretty soon. It's only going to be a short one because I think I've nailed down what the symbols mean. Cool. I just got to find one small piece of proof in it, and then once I've got that, then I'm pretty much guaranteed that I've unlocked the secrets. So
awesome.
All right, catch you guys later.
Grant,
good to see you, Grant.
See you later, Grant. We'll be watching for that video. So David had an interesting comment earlier. A man in yellow seems to know exactly where they are at all times, while the nightmare monsters have to hunt them out. I do think he seems to have more knowledge than the monsters, although I don't know. Sometimes I think he's the one controlling them. So I don't know. Like I think the monsters, it's not that they can't find people, it's that the goal is not to kill everyone all at once, even when they were hiding in holes. I think the point was to kill some of them bit by bit and terrorize the survivors, feed on their fear and their pain. So I don't know. I tend to think that the man in yellow might be kind of controlling the monsters, and that's how they know everybody's names. That's how they're able to get inside people's heads and manipulate them, because I don't think they have that kind of knowledge on their own. They're just shells of whatever they used to be. They're walking around like hollowed out shells. So yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion on that. But yeah, the man in yellow, there seems to be some kind of omniscient quality. Either he knows everything through some omniscient ability to see where people are at any given time, or he just knows it because now we have time travel in the mix. That you could explain it either way at this point, but I tend to lean toward the more magical, like omniscient angle. So that's why I've always felt like there's some sort of power there that can read people's minds, get into their heads, and that's how the monsters are able to do it. They trick people, you know what I mean? So that's what I think.
Like it's a game.
Yeah.
Like the theories of them playing a chess game.
That was my intuitive response when I heard the radio conversation, was exactly that. Whoever that voice on the radio was, they know what's going on here, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And it turned out to be me.
And it was me.
It's crazy to think of you like imagine. I know you weren't watching it at the time because you didn't have the streaming service, but imagine if you had been watching, if you had that streaming service and you were watching it back then, and you're like, gee, I wonder who that man on the radio is going to turn out to be, that voice on the radio, and then it turns out to be you. What a trip.
I've never thought this until this very moment, but I'm kind of glad that I hadn't seen an episode of From when I was asked to audition for The Man in Yellow, because if I had watched 2 seasons of the series at that point and then got told I was auditioning for it again, I would have been so freaked out. I mean, I was freaked out anyway because I was so blown away when I saw the samples of the script from the first 2 times I auditioned for them. But But if I was already that invested in the series and then I found out I had a possibility of being in it, that would have been too much to deal with, I think. You know, it would have had a deleterious effect on my audition, I'm pretty sure.
That's a great point. That would have built up a lot of pressure in your head for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nick L here. Nick L is an amazing theorist in the From fan community. And he said, I appreciate Doug's passion to the continuity of the story. Thanks, Doug.
My pleasure, Nick. And I think it's just the writer in me, you know. As I've said so many times in the past, I have such admiration for the writers of this series. I mean, not just John, but all the other people who collaborate with him. But like, I just think they've done such an awesome job. And you know, so when I hear a lot of these theories that I think, yeah, that's an idea, but it's just bad writing. You know, I reject it out of hand because I know these guys wouldn't stoop that low. You know, they're too good to do that. So there's a part of me that, I mean, when I'm playing the role of the man in yellow, the writer in me sort of takes a back seat. I'm concentrating on playing that role. But when I look at the series, I think a lot of the time I look at it with a writer's eye, just because the writing appeals to me so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And the writing is just brilliant. It's so well done, especially now looking back. What we found out in season 3, the revelations since we started the rewatch, and we look back now and see that certain major plot points were so well written and foreshadowed from the start. You can see, you know, they said that they had certain ideas from the beginning, and you can see that already from the start, the way it was foreshadowed. The writing is just absolutely superb. I have more respect for the show than ever after going back and doing this rewatch. We're not done with it. We're still in the middle of it. We have to get back to it soon, but just what I've seen so far, I'm just so impressed with the quality of the writing on this show. It's phenomenal.
The attention to detail and the can't think of the word, but the intricacy of it, the way that they've planted things that don't pay off until way later, you know, and that's incredibly difficult to do when you're writing a long series like this, you know, and they do it time and time again. It fascinates me.
One of the things that just amazed me, for example, was that there's an episode, I've talked about this before, but there's an episode in season 1 when both Tabitha and Jade in the same episode wind up in the storage room of the diner finding a piece of their past, something that belonged to them in a past life. In the same episode, Tabitha finds the bracelet, Jade finds the book of symbols that Christopher wrote in, and they even color coordinated the two characters. They were both wearing white and like sky blue. And at the time, you never would have connected that these two together, like they have any major influence on each other, or that they're going to be tied together in any way. And then you later find out they're at the center of it all. They are, in my opinion, they're supposed to be the two Chromonockles, two of them, a male and a female Chromonockle, on their own quest, on a dual quest, both of them, to fix the mistakes they made in the past. And I mean, looking back at that, it blew my mind that they planned that out so early for them to do this, and they stumbled on what I think is meant to represent the cavern of the lonely dragon, according to our little our guide, our storytelling guide, Ethan. He says, "Well, it's like the cavern of the lonely dragon, and maybe we'll find a map in here." And 2 seconds later, Tabitha finds a bracelet, a metaphorical map, a way to get back to her roots and find her way through this quest. It started with finding that bracelet. I just thought the writing of that was genius. Really brilliant.
And not to take anything away from the writers when I say this, but, you know, having written a couple of novels now, I realized that, and I mention that just because it's the closest writing experience I've had to writing a TV series in terms of the length of the story. By the time someone reads that book, I've had all the time in the world to work out the entire story arc, so I can go back and plant things, you know, like some of the examples you've been giving in From. And so it looks like genius, when really it's just because I have the advantage of knowing the whole story, so I can plunk things in at will. That's just part of the writing series, but still the writing process. But still, the fact that they've done it to the degree and with the specificity and attention to detail that they have is really amazing.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah. I'm blown away more than ever. I already loved the show, but now after seeing season 3, going back and rewatching, I absolutely love it. And I have complete confidence that they're going to land the plane in the end. They're going to give us a satisfying resolution. And I don't need answers to every little question either. I don't need that. There are certain things I would like answered just in some regard, like what is the backstory of the boy in white and the man in yellow? Just give us something and I'll be satisfied with that. Just some idea of what they represent, where they originated. And I don't need every other little thing answered. I would have been fine with it even if they never showed who threw the rope to Boyd. But it wound up being important because it demonstrated to us how I think time travel is going to work in this show. So it needed to be shown.
That brings up a point that I wanted to ask you about, because, there's this whole thing about how you can story walk, but you can't change the story. That point has been made time and time again. And also, what the writers and producers have told us is that everything you need to know is in the first episode. So I was taking another look at the first episode the other day, and I noticed something curious. There's that scene in the RV where Julie kills off Norman, in Ethan's story, and Ethan's all bent out of shape. And then Mom comes back and changes the story.
Yes, it's true. She does.
But now, wait a minute. How is that going to manifest itself down the road, specifically with Tabitha? Because Tabitha comes back and finds a way to change the story, even though apparently in this world you can't do that. So what's going on there?
She said, well, monsters don't exist, so that means Norman isn't really dead, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
That it makes me wonder about that. And I think it might foreshadow, first of all, there's the irony that they're on their way into a town where monsters do exist, of course, but I think it foreshadows that in the end, monsters will no longer exist. I think they will be obliterated. The place will end. The cycle will end. There won't be any more monsters. But it does raise the question, since she said that means Norman isn't dead. Maybe if Jim represents Norman, like I think he does, who knows? Maybe it's possible Jim could be brought back. I'm still going with that can't be changed, but we'll see.
There's a simpler answer here, and that is that Tabitha's just lying to her kid to cheer him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she wouldn't be the first mother to have done that. So I mean,
that's true.
And see, this is the thing about the series. It's so easy to end up climbing up your own asshole trying to answer these kinds of questions, when in fact there's not necessarily an answer.
Yeah. Like, where they're not going to walk us through, hold our hand and explain everything. Like, this is how the fallen tree in the road works. This is how people enter into the place. Like, this is how all the buildings showed up. I don't think they're going to answer all of that. So we're going to have to just be satisfied with coming up with our own head canon for certain things. And that's okay with me. I'm fine with that.
Same here, because I just look at that stuff and I go, those are the given circumstances. You don't need to explain all the given circumstances in detail. We just, in order to follow the story, we need to know what the rules are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tree across the road. Everybody who watches this series knows what that means. If it's getting dark, everybody knows it's time to get indoors. Nobody knows why the monsters only come out at night. Or why the talismans work or whatever. But we just accept that because it's part of the way the place works. It's the given circumstances. So, yeah. And I mean, I think one of the reasons that people are so invested in the whole theory crafting thing is because, there is a mystery box element to the series. And the downside to that is you don't know which things are significant and which aren't. And so everything gets put under the microscope, and everybody tries to explain all this stuff that doesn't necessarily need an explanation, you know?
Right. Absolutely. And by the way, Alexis said, Doug just blew my mind. I didn't even catch that. It's a great point.
I didn't catch it either. I've watched the first episode several times, and it just kind of hit me this time, you know, because I was thinking about the, you know, Ethan saying that. I was like, wait a minute, Mom just changed the story. I thought you couldn't do that here, you know, like, yeah.
Yeah. And then when it's interesting though, when Julie felt bad for Ethan in the next episode, and she was trying to reassure him and saying, you know, the fairies, the secret fairies came back from the Lake of Tears, and so Norman's okay. Norman's gonna be okay. Ethan wasn't reassured by that. So it might be like Grant here said in the chat. So maybe Julie can't change the story, but Tabitha can.
I think it's simpler than that. I think it's just Ethan trusts that kind of a message coming from his mom. He doesn't trust it coming from his older torturing sister, you know?
No, he doesn't.
I mean, that's just sibling rivalry there, you know. That's yeah, I think it's a simpler solution.
And I'm going with what, like, I believe they can't change the story, like David said, because it's all in the past. Like, unless there's something that was already a loop that just needs to be completed, like Julie throwing the rope to Boyd, that was always supposed to happen. That's just the way it went. Julie needed to complete the action that already took place. She threw the rope to Boyd. That didn't change anything about the fabric of her present reality. So I think that's how it's going to work from now on. Jim is dead. That's not going to be changeable, in my opinion. And the same with the sacrifice of the kids.
You know, as we've said many times before, it seems very clear that when Ethan tells us about how the Kromenako story works, we're being told how this place works. And those are the rules. And they can't be broken, you know? And he's the one who says definitively, you know, story walkers can go back and visit the story, but they can't change things.
Yes.
So that's the way it is here. Those are the rules. You know, again, the given circumstances. You know, why it's that way, I don't know, but
I have always trusted Ethan as our guide from the start. He's the mouthpiece for the way that this works.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's the mouthpiece for the rule book, for all of it. And Nick L said the premise of the series is to save the children, which would have to alter the events of the past. If it's impossible to change events, they need to change the outcome. Yeah, there's got to be some alternate concept of what it means to save the children. I don't think they can prevent the sacrifice, but it could be something to do with freeing their trapped spirits from this place. That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly. I don't think it's a question of going back and, you know, preventing their deaths. It's one of freeing them from the prison they've been in for the past however many hundreds of years, you know.
The curse.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel they're cursed.
Yep. Zulinator asked you, Doug, if you think the man in yellow could be a person that moves through time. Like, I mean, now we have story walking, which is essentially time travel. What do you think? Do you think he could be a time traveler?
I have no idea. Maybe, you know. I don't know if he would necessarily need to have to do that, you know. No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not so sure. I think maybe he was just kind of trapped in a sort of spiritual prison outside of time. You know, he was trapped. The music was played, and Tabitha and Jade's memories came back, and it freed him from wherever he was. That's the way I look at it. I don't think he's been just roaming around, rampaging through time, and he just decided to show up there. He showed up there for that specific reason, I think. And I don't think he could before. That's the implication I got. He said, Jade, that was a hell of a song that Jade sure can play. It implied that he couldn't have shown up if it wasn't. He was so smug about it. You were. It implied that if that revelation hadn't happened due to the song being played, he couldn't have shown up there. That's the implication I took from it.
Yeah, that didn't occur to me immediately, but I think there's a lot of merit to that theory. Yeah. And I don't know for sure, but it's, you know, it's such a, you know, 2 + 2 = 4 kind of connection in terms of how the story is told that it seems to imply that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Robert had an interesting point. He went to bed already, but this was cool. I starred this. He said maybe the man in yellow was not just on the radio, but he might have been on the phone with Ethan and Jim. I guess he's talking about the Thomas voice, the fake Thomas voice, or Kenny in that dream, or on the phone when Thomas died, or the voice, and maybe the voice spoke to Father Khatri and told him to get back in his car and drive. That he could have been the voice in Khatri's head. Khatri supposedly heard the voice of God, told him to get back in his car and drive. Then he wound up in Fromville. I definitely believe it's some entity. It's either the man in yellow or the boy in white who spoke to Khatri. I don't think God was talking to him and sending him there.
I've always suspected that Thomas on the phone was also the man in yellow, but I have no, you know, I don't know if that's the case or not, but that's my theory. You know. Me too.
He could change his voice. Who knows? You know, he could make himself sound like a child.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, you know, I'm sure he can do lots of stuff like that, but you know.
That's been my thinking from the start too. Hey, Christine Jellybean. Yes, there could be 5 seasons. I think that I bet money we're going to get 5 seasons of From. Oh yeah. They need that to finish telling this story. 1 more will not be enough, in my opinion. We need at least 5. 6 would be phenomenal, but at least if we get 5, that would be enough, I think. Dieter had a question for you, Doug. After the scene with Jim, did you get a lot of reactions from other actors of the show? Did anybody reach out to you after the season ended?
I not because of the scene. I started connecting with people on Instagram because it was really my only means of connecting with people. I didn't expect any of them to get back to me because they have so many followers and they get so inundated with messages that I didn't even know if they were going to see mine. A couple of people did. David Alpay, I think, sent me a message. Sean Majumder did for sure. And I eventually heard, it took a while, but I eventually heard from Scott as well. Trying to remember if there was anybody else. Oh, well, Julie and I, you know, of course, had met. So we sort of exchanged hellos on Instagram, but it was just like, hi, how you doing? You know, kind of thing. And that was right at the very beginning, shortly after we shot the scene. But I haven't really heard from her since. So no, there hasn't been much connection. I met Liz when Cliff and she came over for dinner. And that got set up just because I knew Cliff already, you know, so I invited the 2 of them over. But no, there's been very little contact with people on Instagram. Like I say, they get so swamped with messages all the time that was pretty much what I expected. So it's all good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully soon you'll get to connect with them. I mean, who knows? It could be anywhere anytime in the next few months. It might not be until fall that they have you come on set and everything, but that'll be so exciting. We'll be so psyched for you, like joining the cast and getting to experience that and meeting everybody.
Well,
you know?
and here's the thing. I've always assumed that if I went back this year, that there would be a big meet and greet kind of thing, but it doesn't work that way. I mean, actually, Liz and Cliff were talking about that when they were here for dinner, about how, you know, you can go weeks without seeing other people in the show because you're always doing these 2- and 3-hander scenes. You know, yeah, for the big scenes in Colony House and the big, you know, the gathering at the diner and that kind of thing. Yes, then there's a lot of people there on the day. But you sort of forget how many of the scenes in this series are just very small scenes between just a few of the actors. And so when it comes to the shooting schedule, you know, you can go a very long time before you actually get to meet somebody. So I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know who's going to be there when I go back, if I go back, you know, so we'll see.
Yeah.
You know,
Where
but
did
I
we
don't think it's going to be what I envisioned of like, oh, I go back and on the first day I get to meet everybody. No, that's not going to happen, I don't think.
Right, right. What's Scarlet?
No melon bar, no melon party.
No
Nope.
melon party. Yeah. You mean like in Severance, the melon parties?
Yeah, like a melon party.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was like right on the tip of my brain. It was like, wait, this means something. I can't remember what it is. Got it. Yes.
It was
Yeah,
the only
no,
one I
I
could
think
think of off the top of my head.
I was envisioning a melon party, but I don't think that's going to be happening.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll get to meet as many people as you can early, because that would be fun, you know, just to initiate you into the group. I don't know where they live. Like they must, like, I don't know how that works. Like they stay up there for a while they're shooting, and they must be pretty close by to the shooting site.
Somebody told me, I can't remember who it was, but for people who are there for several weeks at a time, they have apartments and they billet two of them together at a time. So, yeah. But for folks like me, it's just, you know, they fly in for the episode and they fly right back home again, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, you think you would just be flying in, shooting, and then flying home rather than having to stick around?
It depends, you know.
Yeah.
If it depends on how long, like, you know, if there's an episode where I'm in for much of the episode, that can be a 2 or 3 or 4 week process. And so, yeah, I would probably be staying, but I don't know, you know.
Yeah. Well, we'll be excited to see how that turns out. I mean, since I wonder how it'll work with you, because we have 3 actors now who announced that they're filming and they posted pictures, and this is typical. We see this every time that they shoot. I wonder if they'd have a problem with you doing the same, because your character is so much more mysterious. Would that be too much of a spoiler if you were to post a picture outside a trailer?
I've wondered about that, and I don't know. I don't think so, just because they don't seem to have a problem with people doing that. It's kind of promoting the series and all of that, you know, and it's not really giving anything away. I mean, and the other thing is, given the nature of the end of season 3, I think everybody's kind of expecting my character to come back anyway. So I don't think that's much of a spoiler, you know. But that did cross my mind. I don't know really even who to ask about that, but maybe some of the other cast members, but I suspect that's not going to be a problem, you know.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So then we'll know.
Posting pages of the script online or anything like that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that'll be cool. We'll get to know like when you're actually shooting, and that'll be so cool to see. And you know, I don't know, like we'll start to see behind the scenes photos trickle in. That happens every season too. Every season while they're shooting, you have actors posting pictures, but you got to clear those with MGM or whoever, the showrunners, and they don't always do that. So yeah, I know you're going to be careful not to overdo it, and maybe just do some fun stuff with the mini man in yellow on set.
Well, that's going to be my first question when I get there is like, okay, what am I allowed to do with this guy? Just give me some parameters here so I know what I can get away with. You know?
Oh, I can't wait to see. It's going to be so fun to watch. With Alice, I had highlighted this or saved it earlier. She said something about, I agree with Doug. I think the newcomers to town are toyed with by the devil, divine, and demonic angels. I'm not sure what we were talking about at the time, but
we were
talking
about the supernatural nature of the series versus the government experiment theory, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely. I think it's a more spiritual, magical explanation, not some kind of government experiment. 100%. And I've always felt that way.
And
Julie,
I think,
sorry, go
Julie,
ahead.
Yeah, and I think, Julie, you were talking about how at that same time that the monsters aren't there to kill everybody. They're sort of there to extract some of their, you know, kill some of their hope, and almost like a vampiric kind of situation where they're drawing something from them with all their fears.
Yes.
Yeah, that seems abundantly clear, because I mean, I've said myself several times in the past, if they wanted to kill all these people, that could happen in a day, you know. they've got the capability of doing that. I mean, the talismans are only going to save you so much. If they really wanted to kill everybody off, they'd be dead. Simply.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
they would.
they seem to take such glee in what they're doing as well.
Exactly. It's all about destroying their soul, really. You know.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
and given the nature of the monsters, you know, this kind of you want to talk about a purgatory, you know, having eternal life, but that being your life, I'm sure that, you know, misery loving company, they get great joy from making these people as miserable as possible, you know, killing their spirits to the extent that they can before they actually kill them off, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, yeah, occasionally they have to be able to actually kill people because that's part of killing everybody else's spirit, you know, that instilling that kind of fear.
Yeah, it's a kind of terrorism. It's really about terrorizing the survivors. You look what they've done to Kenny, you know, and they're feeding on all that fear and pain. And then I think once they break them down enough so that there's nothing left, they're just all broken people. Then eventually, I think every cycle probably ended in a complete wipeout, another massacre, and then it starts over.
And there's no better example of what you just described than them forcing Boyd to watch Tian Chen getting killed. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, these monsters who, if they catch you at night, immediately kill you, didn't lay a finger on him. Well, they, you know, enough to handcuff him to the post, but I mean, they just left him unscathed, and it was all about destroying his spirit. You know, having to watch that traumatizing event. You know.
Absolutely. That was, and also especially because he has to bear the guilt, knowing that he could have prevented that from happening. Like he was put in a desperate situation with this food shortage, and I think the whole point was so that he would do something reckless and desperate. And instead of telling Tian Chen, we need to get in the house, forget about this cow, he let her stay out there and help him. And now he has to deal with that. He has to carry that on his conscience forever. So that's part of breaking him down for sure, because he has that savior complex. They forced him into such a desperate spot that now he's going to feel guilty about the loss of Tian Chen forever. So yeah, definitely part of breaking his spirit. And also where he actually got to the point of torturing Elgin, that's part of breaking him too, breaking his character.
Oh, they've done it to him in so many ways, you know, having Abby show up, you know, I mean, and you know, what they did to Randall, you know.
Yeah.
You save everybody else, but you can't save him, you know.
Yes. What you can't save them all. Again, that was another excellent example, because he had no choice but to leave a man behind, and he used to be a military man. You know, that leave no man behind is what this is what they live by. This is their code, and they literally forced him to leave a man behind and choose. Like, it was the trolley problem. He had to give up Randall so that he could save a larger number of people. Yeah. He had Jim, Tabitha, and Henry in that ambulance. Yeah. So yeah, they're breaking him down more and more and more. Yeah, so it's genius, really. Boyd was not really the centerpiece of the season as much. It was more about breaking him through others, hurting others, and putting that on his conscience. That's what was going on. Tian Chen, Randall, and then Elgin, you know, driving Boyd to do that to Elgin. Yeah. It's a really genius strategy, actually, what they're doing.
And there's another element to this torture as well. And that is that, again, him being a military man, he's all about rules, following the rules. And of course, he's created all kinds of rules in this place just to keep everybody alive. And he's constantly being forced to compromise those rules, you know?
Yes. 100%.
Sarah and who's the other one? You know, like what he did with Sarah and Fatima, you know, like the cover-ups that he's been forced to perpetrate, you know. And this is a guy who's all about, you know, following the rules, and yet, you know, Sarah doesn't go in the box, and you know, and on and on and on. I mean, that they've done that to him countless times, where the situation has evolved in such a way that he's forced to compromise one of his own rules time and time again. And we always understand why he's doing it. There's always this question of the greater good, but, you know, viewed from the outside, like the rest of the people in From, it's like, hey, dude, what happened to the rule that said this, you know?
Yeah. And what he does with Fatima, I think, is a direct result of the trauma that this place put him through with Abby. This place drove Abby insane, and it lured him out into the woods by rewarding him. Every time he'd go out in the woods, he'd find things that made him, obsessed with going back again and again. He finds goats and chickens, and what else can I find out there? He wasn't paying attention to his family. Abby lost her mind. He had no choice but to shoot her, and the trauma of that compromised his judgment. So now he's willing to put everyone at risk for Fatima when she was at a serious danger. She could have killed someone else. He covered up the fact that she killed Tilly. This was really compromising his judgment. It was the trauma that this place has inflicted, more breaking him. You know,
I think partly that particular episode had to do with, you know, that episode of, not the series, but that episode of him covering up for Fatima had as much to do with him intuitively understanding that Fatima didn't do this. You know, Fatima was compelled to do this.
Right.
You know, just like Sarah was compelled to do what she did. And Elgin too, as well. But I mean, you know, and curiously in that case, he finds himself forced to torture the kid, you know. But yeah, and there's another example, you know, like where the whole idea of torturing somebody to get information just so totally goes against his own moral universe, and yet he finds himself in the situation where he literally has no other option. Yeah,
and also one other thing on this, so the whole food shortage. I think that was designed specifically to put Boyd in that desperate situation where someone wound up getting killed. Because look what happened the day after this happened and Tan Shen died. All of a sudden, props show up in the woods and no more food shortage. Now they have food to eat. There was never going to be a food shortage that was going to starve them all. The point is not to kill them all, like we've been saying.
Exactly.
It's to put Boyd in that desperate situation, which resulted in Tan Shen's death. Yeah. By the way, Martin came in. He said, hi, Doug, and the rest of us. Hi, Martin.
Hi, Martin.
Nice to see you. David, I agree with this. This was from a little earlier. The mystery isn't as important as the journey to the writers, because the literal story isn't as important as the metaphorical meanings.
Wonderfully succinctly put. Thank you, David.
Yes. David always has great insights. He also said, I prefer mystery shows to end ambiguously, because as soon as you explain the mystery, the magic dies.
Another great point.
I like to hear David's opinion of Twin Peaks Returns ending, but I don't want to spoil it for you, Julie, because I know you haven't seen it.
You know, it's funny,
but in
Scarlet,
my head, I want to know David's what he liked about that, or if he liked it.
You mentioned Twin Peaks Returns earlier on another live, or maybe it was when we were watching the pilot.
Yeah.
I watched Twin Peaks Returns when it came out, and I literally can't remember anything about it. Like, I'm gonna have to watch it again. I remember being like, I was okay with it because I was afraid it was going to be disappointing, and I wasn't disappointed by it. But like the details of the story, gone completely. I'm gonna have to see it all over again.
That would actually make sense if you read the final dossier by Mark Frost. It would kind of have the same mindset.
Yeah.
I can't really say without spoiling it, because I want Julie to watch the whole thing.
Well, and if you do make watching Twin Peaks a regular watch party thing, I will show up for as many of those as I can, because I would love to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, I want to do that for sure. By the way, Alexis, when we were talking about you bringing Mini Man in Yellow on set, she said, Doug, I can't. You're going to make me cry if I see him on set.
He won't be on set. Alexis. He will have to be backstage. There's no way on earth they would ever allow him on set. That's not going to happen.
Even just being there with you, though, regardless, I know that's going to make her really happy to see. When you're up there and she knows you're filming. That's
Well,
going to make her
happy. Tears of joy, then okay, cool. Because
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Martin said, I'm with you, Doug and Julie, on the writers and the writing of From. Full faith in them. And he thinks Lost was perfect and he got all the answers and everything made sense the more he rewatched, too. Exactly like From. Absolutely.
It's funny. I got into Lost quite late in the game. And so I spent the first several episodes that I watched just playing catch up because I didn't know what the hell was going on. It was very late in the series. But when they ended it the way they did, I was completely satisfied with that. I thought it worked just fine,
Yeah, I'm finally on the final season, so I'm getting close to finishing it, and I love it so far. I don't need every little question answered, so I think I'm going to be happy with it. And hey there, Jackie C. Nice to see you. Always awesome to see you. Jackie is one of Tony's mods. And she's awesome. She's so kind. She said, always so lovely to see actors who are as big a fan as us.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Jackie. I don't think we've crossed paths before.
Yeah. She said, hey, man in yellow. Jackie's a lovely person. Martin said, question for the panel. If Kenny burned everything in the tunnels, would it work? Or do we just trap them in the tunnels in season 4 with a talisman so we can go explore the forest and at nighttime? I don't think it'll be as simple as that. I think, no, there's no way there could be a simple way out, like just burn the tunnels. I think, I don't know. I don't know what would happen, like if they throw a Molotov cocktail in there. I mean, what would happen? Would every woman in town get pregnant with more monster puppets at once?
Exactly. I was just going to say, look what happened to Smiley, for God's sake. It's like, I think the point of that was clearly, okay, we can't kill these things, Yeah. So I'm sure that lots of people following the series have been asking these kinds of questions, and them doing what they did with Smiley was their way of saying, please stop asking those questions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
plus,
you can't, these are supernatural beings. They're not natural beings, so you can't kill them using natural means,
I agree. Scarlet, what was that?
The part about the forest too. I mean, we don't know that's where the man in yellow's domain is. There could be monsters in town, and he could be the entity of the forest, and then they can't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Up the ante.
That's come up a lot. I know in theories, people speculating on where the man in yellow can go, and of course, I have no idea. But I think he can go wherever he wants. I mean, that's my intuitive take on it. Like, I don't think there's going to be any rules about where he can show up. Clearly, the normal laws of physics don't apply to this guy, so I think he can go wherever the hell he wants to go.
Even anywhere in time.
Sure. Anyway, like why not? I mean, if Smiley can come back from the dead by way of Fatima, why the hell can't this guy show up in town? I mean, what's stopping him?
If Teddy can fall off a lighthouse and end up in Maine.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
David also said earlier, if the man in yellow is controlling the monsters and the curse, then wouldn't the monsters want to eliminate the man in yellow and escape? Or are they happy to be there? I don't think there's anything left of them to even have independent desires and thoughts like that. I think they're just shells of what they used to be and just being controlled externally. That's what I think. I don't think the monsters have any sense of agency whatsoever anymore.
And even if they do, again, we don't have any specific details about this, but the implication seems to be that the man in yellow is more powerful than them in a variety of ways. The most obvious thing being, he can show up in the middle of the day and they can't. I think that's sort of shorthand for, okay, this guy's sort of on a level above them in terms of his abilities. So I don't know if, I mean, again, coming back to Smiley, if they can't kill off Smiley, You know, can these monsters actually succeed in killing off the man in yellow? I doubt it.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no coming back from this. I think the monsters are not savable. They're not redeemable. Like, you can't just, I think in the end, they're just going to be obliterated. That's what I think. Doc had a funny question here. Doug, do you think the man in yellow might have a hot monster wife?
God, I hope so. Why not? Why not? Why the hell not? You know?
Yeah. Let's give man in yellow a monster wife.
A hot monster wife, specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, Scarlet is, she popped off and back on. Hold on. We'll put her back on.
Yeah, sorry.
It's funny, actually, that this should come up. Some woman on Instagram sent me a voice message today, and she said she'd had a dream about the man in yellow. And in the dream, he got married to, what's her name? The attractive monster that
Oh, Jasmine?
Jasmine, yeah. He got married to Jasmine.
All right, man.
So he got his hot monster wife, apparently, in this woman's dream.
Wow. All right.
I think everybody wants Jasmine to return.
Well, I was sort of like, I'm okay with that. They want to marry me to her? Sure. Why not?
Yeah, go man in yellow. All right. Give man in yellow a love interest. You need to start a petition. Let's see. Oh, and Jackie said, nice to meet you, Doug. I saw that somewhere. She said, because you said nice to meet you. Let's see. What else? Dieter said, Doug, I love your stories. Thank you for joining us so much. I like you a lot, my friend.
Well, thank you, Dieter. I like you a lot, too. And I just want to say, I may have said this before, but I really appreciate everything you do in terms of supporting Julie and the channel and all of that. It's like over and above the Call of Duty. So thank you.
Yeah, it is above and beyond Call of Duty. It's incredible. And I can't thank Dieter enough for everything that he does for me and this channel. Dieter had another question too. Could it be like, this is an interesting idea. Like, could it be that the man in yellow is like another enemy and not friends with the monsters? I don't know. I tend to think that he's got to be connected, but what do you think, Doug?
I don't think so, just because the focus of the monsters seems to be so exclusively on the people in the town. You know, there's nothing to suggest that the monsters have any desire to change their situation. You know, it may look horrific from our point of view, but from theirs, it seems like they're having a lot of fun. You know, they derive their joy from terrorizing these people. So there's no incentive for them that I can see to want to change that status quo.
Right. I agree. Absolutely. Yeah, Dieter said, oh, thank you, Doug. Yeah. Dieter is the GOAT. He got that name for a reason. And yeah, I think Alexis is right here that season 4 is going to have some dark scenes. I think it's going to we're going to go to a darker place than we've been before with this show. Season 3 already got darker with the torturing of Tian Chen. That was something we'd never seen before. That was brutal. So I think it's going to get worse too. We could see another massacre. That's what I'm anticipating.
I think the most cogent description of season 4 is the one that Sean Majumder keeps spewing out. That is that season 4 is going to be fucking bananas. I think that kind of says it all.
Right? Oh, yeah. It's going to be fucking bananas. I think that's a theory we can all agree on, a statement. Also, this is really interesting. That Scarlet, sorry, did I talk over you?
No, I just liked what Jackie C said. Go team Giant Spider.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting point Zulinator made earlier that I saved. I actually think that the man in yellow, Doug, is the protagonist despite what we saw, and the boy in white is the antagonist. He is just trying to balance the scales throughout history. And that could be.
That's an interesting idea, and I've mentioned in earlier live streams that I stumbled across some woman who had some theories about the Man in Yellow shortly after the season 3 finale was released, and she said, he could be evil, he could maybe not be evil, and he could be something in between, and she talked about how his function might be to maintain the balance of power here, or to maintain that the rules that have been established, that he's kind of like the referee. And I had sort of had a similar sort of intuitive take on him, that might be his function. I mean, he might just be straight up evil, but it seems more about, this place has a certain set of parameters that have to stay in place in order for it to function the way it's been designed to. And his job is to make sure that those parameters don't get exceeded, and if that means getting incredibly violent in the process, well, that's clearly accepted in this environment. So that's what he does, that maybe it's not a question of whether he's moral or immoral, but amoral, morality doesn't come into it.
He's just there. Yeah. Like as a neutral arbiter of this place. That's a really interesting theory. Yeah. Because we tend to look at things too black and white of a mentality sometimes, with good versus evil, black and white, black versus white. Maybe there's a gray area here, and there isn't. It's not just pure good versus pure evil. I talk about the German series Dark a lot, and in Dark it wasn't clear cut either. There were two sides, and there were basically there wasn't. Scarlet, I'm not going to go into heavy spoilers, but just the main point that there are two sides.
I'm only through season 1.
So maybe close your ears for a second, but like...
I got to run upstairs. I'll run upstairs real quick.
Okay. I'm not going to do heavy spoilers, but just that there are two sides, and it's not a simple binary of good versus evil. It's like there's an endless loop going on. I'll just say that. And one side wants to keep it going, and the other side wants to make it stop. And I think that's what's going on in From too. One side wants to keep all of these cycles going. The other side wants to make it stop. Well, and it may not be a simple good versus evil.
It's interesting you should mention that, because when I first started doing interviews after the season finale dropped last year, I was getting all these questions about, how evil my character was, and how do you approach playing someone who's evil? And I said, okay, a couple of things. Number one, as an actor, you can never look at the character you're playing as evil, because, the people that we think of as being evil, they don't see themselves as evil. They have their reasons for doing what they're doing, and they believe they're justified in doing what they're doing. And even if they're morally conflicted about what they're doing, they don't see themselves as evil. And I use the analogy of two sports teams. If you're a Jets fan and they're playing the Raiders, then the Raiders are the enemy. The Raiders are evil. But if you're a Raiders fan, the Jets are the enemy. They're the bad guys. It's all a question of your point of view.
Right. Any hero can be the villain in someone else's story.
Exactly.
It's all a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it too. Alexis said, I'm predicting the children, and the children, that's going to be terrifying. Oh, so like, they're inside the minds of Julie, Marielle, and Randall. Oh, so like that we'll see what happens to the children. I think eventually, maybe in the final season, we'll see Julie's story walk and see the actual sacrifice happening. I could totally see that. Not yet. I would guess maybe they'd save that for the final season, but with Julie, Marielle, and Randall, when they were in the dungeon screaming, it seemed like they were looking at something, and I think they may have been seeing the sacrifice of the children happening when they were in that state, but they just can't remember now. They're just traumatized now, and they don't know why. Julie hears screaming in her head all the time. That's what I think. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much darker than child sacrifice, and this show is going to go to some even darker places now that we know that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't shy away from that.
I'm going to have to bail because it's getting past my bedtime here. But thanks for having me on again.
Well, always a pleasure, Doug. So happy to have you as always. And as long as you're able to join us, we love it. Everyone loves your stories and your insights. So, yeah, we weren't sure what was going to happen when we heard the rumors about From shooting in June. I guess, those of us who are not, aware of how the industry works, we were thinking, oh, so you're going to be gone by the end of June. You're going to be away. But they're filming a long time. So who knows, like, when you're going to get that call. Hopefully they give you enough notice, though. Like, I wonder how much notice they'll give you before they
Well, I mean, I can only talk about this in generalities, but the way it usually works is the first phone call you get is an availability check. And they'll say, are you available from these dates to these dates, this date to this date? And so you clear your calendar and make sure you're available. Doesn't mean they're necessarily going to use you within those dates. They may call you a couple of weeks later and say, actually, we're going to see you the week after that, because the shooting schedule hasn't been nailed down to that degree yet. But they have to make sure, and part of putting the schedule together is making sure that everybody is available. So that's the first call you get, is that. And then as you get closer to the day, then you'll get some specifics at some point that you don't actually. I mean, if you're a series regular, you sign a contract for the entire series. If you're just a recurring character, like it seems I'm going to be, it generally means you get a contract for each episode that you're in separately. So you'll get an availability check, and then you'll get booked, and that's when you get the contract. And then it's the dates are not necessarily set in stone. They still might vary a little bit depending on weather and what's happening with the shooting schedule and stuff, but that's essentially how it works.
Okay. Yeah. So there's not just like, of course, they're not going to call you up and say, okay, be on a plane tomorrow. So you'll have some idea of when it's going to happen. And I know when you didn't have much notice, though, when you had to shoot their scene, though.
I know. And that is completely atypical. Now, I did get an availability check for the entire month, but it was very late in that, like I had pretty much given up, like whatever it was, I thought, well, it must be cast by now. And that 4-week period had almost evaporated when they finally called and said, we want to do the audition. One of the reasons that happened was because initially all they told the various actors' agents is, we're going to cast this role from their audition reels. So just send in the audition reels. Somewhere along the line, the decision was made that no, they actually had to do auditions. But it was very late in the day. And why that happened as late as it did, I have no idea. But it's very, very unusual for that to happen, where you suddenly find yourself cast for something and you're shooting a couple of days later, unless you're being called in to replace somebody. And as far as I know, that wasn't the case. It might have been. There might have been somebody already booked to play the Man in Yellow, and then they lost them. And that's when they had to recast. That's entirely possible,
Wow. Well, if that's the case, that's lucky for you. And anyway,
lucky
everybody,
for all of us, Julie. We're lucky to get Doug.
Bless your heart. Thanks, Carl.
we sure are. We feel so fortunate that you're a part of our.
Exactly how I feel. I was just thinking about this earlier today. I'm just so grateful that this opportunity came along to get to do something as interesting and fun as this, and something that has such an incredible following as well. I've never been in this position before. It's really quite novel.
And we're so happy for you. You deserve it. You really deserve to get this role, and especially as much as you admired from the beginning when you auditioned the first time. So we're so happy for you and can't wait to see what you're going to do in season 4 and where this goes from here. And in the meantime, though, we're happy to still have your company while you're waiting to find out when it's your turn to shoot.
I'm equally happy to be here.
Awesome.
I'd stick around longer if I didn't have to get up in the morning, but I really have to get out of here. So.
And as always, I've got the links to your plays, Doug, in the description of the video. So anyone who's interested, you can find the links to Doug's plays that he wrote with his writing partner, Marcia, Kash.
Oh, that reminds me. I got a little bit of potentially good news yesterday. There's a
what's that?
theater up in Thunder Bay called Magnus Theater, where I've worked a couple of times now. And Tom, the artistic director there, we sent him a copy of Sucker, the new play, a few months ago. And Marcia and I have just been sending out copies to a few people in the last week or two. And because we did some rewrites to it, I sent him one the other day and just said, have a look at this one, because we've, this is about as far as we can take it before we get a production. So have a look and tell us what you think. And he wrote me back and mentioned that he's actually considering booking it as part of his season either next year or the year after. It's not carved in stone, but that was that's the closest we've got to someone telling us they're going to produce it so far. So I was very happy to get that news.
That's so exciting. Oh, and then once that happens, then you can get it published, right? As soon as you get the first production. That's amazing. Well, good luck with that. I really hope that pans out.
Thanks.
You deserve it. And
well, as I know anymore, you will know. So I'll pass that on for sure.
That's amazing. I'm not surprised. It's the concept of Sucker using the dangers of AI is so relevant today. It's such a hot topic. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if this pans out. I expect it will. I don't think you'll have trouble getting that first production at all.
Well, and as I said to him in my email back, I said, it's from a production point of view, it's a very cheap show to do. It's 3 actors and a really minimal set. So from a budget point of view, it's got that going for it too. And that's one of the reasons why, Mars was really interested in writing something with as small a cast as we can get away with, for that very reason, because this has been the trend in theater. People are doing smaller and smaller shows because budgets are tight and they can't afford that much payroll, and so you're seeing lots and lots of 200, 300, and 400 plays getting done everywhere because it's cheaper. So that's one of the reasons we decided to do this thing in the first place, So
sorry, what was that, Doug?
It looks like it might pay off,
That's amazing. That's amazing. And if you do decide to do something online, like you had been talking about through your YouTube channel, some sort of reading of the play, just let me know. I'll help any way that I can.
I appreciate that, but here's the thing: if we actually get a production, that would kind of obviate the need of doing the YouTube channel thing. We were just trying to find some way of getting this thing out to the world to get a production. But if we get the production itself, we would use that as the thing to push the show. Now,
if you did that, so that wouldn't, you'd still need like an actual production in a theater to get it published, though, right? Like if you did,
absolutely, yeah,
I thought so. So let's fingers crossed that happens. That would be the ideal. But if not, that's always a good backup, at least to get it out there and get some exposure. So it's good to have that plan B in place in case.
And here's another interesting piece of news I just found out the other day. Apparently this happened quite some time ago, but neither of our publishers condescended to let us know. Broadway Publishing has been purchased by Concord Theatricals. So all of our plays are now owned by Concord Theatricals. Well, not owned, they're owned by us, but the right to distribute the rights is now all under the Concord Theatricals umbrella. So
okay. So wait, not Deadline though? Is Deadline still on place?
Like Deadline was published by Broadway Publishing, but now they're part of Concord. So all 6 of our plays are now in the hands of the same publisher, in effect. Like it'll probably still stay on the PlayScripts website. Yeah. And I haven't checked to see if they've put it up on Concord. I don't imagine they've gotten around to doing stuff like that yet for people in our position. And in fact, I should probably write and ask them about that. But yeah, eventually these plays are all just, if you wanted to get the rights for them now, you would be calling Concord Theatricals. You'd probably be calling the same number that you would call when Broadway Publishing was a separate company, but in effect, it's part of Concord now. So.
Okay, yeah, I'll so I have the link in the description of the video. It should still be on playscripts.com.
Oh yeah, right? No, that link I'm sure will be valid for quite some time. Great. But I imagine down the road, like if you go onto the Concord website and type in my name or Marcia's, eventually Deadline will show up on there as well. I don't know if that's happened yet. I haven't checked, but I doubt it. That kind of stuff takes longer, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if anybody wants to check out, I highly recommend you check out Doug's plays. You can still find those at the links in the description of the video. There's Deadline at playscripts.com, and his first 5 plays are at the Concord Theatricals website, also in the description. And you can read the first 32 pages of Deadline for free on the PlayScript site and order an e-copy or a physical copy. I've also got Doug's website in the description of the video too, with all his information. And everybody's saying good night in the chat with Alice. Amy says good night, Doug. Sleep well. Alexis says good night.
Good night, folks.
And Doc said, good night, Doug. Thank you so much for story walking with us. Martin says, thanks a lot, Doug. You truly are a great man. Good night.
Oh,
yes,
you,
he is. He is. Kimberly says, good night, Doug. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Good night, Kimberly.
Yeah, everyone's saying good night. And thank you so much, Doug, for spending time with us as always. We appreciate it. It's always a great time.
My pleasure. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, Carl.
Good night.
And then there were 2. I don't know what happened to Scarlet, but maybe she'll be back on. Nick L at the end here said thanks for being here, Doug. Doug tends to watch the replays sometimes, so I highlight the comments anyway, even if I miss a few. So, and thank you, Nick L, for hanging out. By the way, Nick, we haven't forgotten about your theory, your awesome theory that you posted about the nightmare creatures in the Discord. Robert and Nick posted some really interesting theories that we are going to get to, I promise. But as it turned out, Doc did so much research on the nightmare creatures that this is turning into like at least a month-long theme. So we're still starting the introductory part for the first 2 nights that we did it. This Friday, we're going to do another From Academy on the nightmare creatures. And so I'm following Doc's lead on this, but hopefully we'll start getting to the theories posted in the Discord maybe Friday. So I'll talk to Doc and we'll figure out that situation and let Nick and Robert know when we're going to be diving into their theories, which are so intricate and interesting. And when I do that, we will post the timestamps. I'll do the timestamps so that you don't have to stay up all night to hear your theory discussed. You can check out the replay and I'll put the timestamp in. And if anyone else has theories regarding the nightmare creatures, drop them in the Discord. We have a From Academy channel in the Discord, which is linked in the description of this video. And that way, if you can't make it, because the live is at 12:30 a.m. and I know that's really late for a lot of people, Eastern time. Plus we go for a few hours. If you want us to discuss your theory on the monsters, you can put it in the Discord. We'll discuss it and credit you. We'll read your theory and I'll timestamp it so you can find it easily when you're ready to watch. So we love hearing everybody's theories. They're so interesting and that's what's so fun about all this. Just having a great discussion and hearing everybody's ideas. So yes, like Doc said, we have not forgotten you, Nick L. Yes, it will still, okay, so Doc said it will not be the next one though. We haven't made it to theories. This Friday is potential inspirations. Okay, see, I'm following Doc's lead on this one. And so he's going to lead the way. We're going to do potential inspirations for the nightmare creatures on Friday. There's just so much to talk about and we get into all kinds of interesting discussions that are sparked by the research Doc has done on all this. So we'll do that this Friday, and then maybe next week we'll be getting into theories, but we'll let you know. And when that happens, we'll timestamp it so Nick and Robert can find that. Oh, Dieter, no, it didn't disappear. I missed it though. I don't know how I overlooked all those yellow hearts. Good. Dieter said, good night, Doug. Thank you. Yellow hearts for Doug. And Jackie put yellow hearts. Martin Yellowheart. And belated good night to Amy, in case you're still listening. Yeah, he usually, I know Doug watches some of the replay from after he goes to bed, so I always highlight everybody's comments if I miss any that are directed toward him. If you want to buy a cameo, you can get a personalized cameo from Doug. That's the link to his cameo site. And you can get all kinds of awesome things. There's an option to get a pep talk. I highly recommend that. The pep talks are awesome from all the From actors. They do an amazing job. They're so kind. There's also an option to get advice or a birthday greeting or it's another thing. You can get a roast. That's kind of a weird one because I don't know how they roast you if they don't really know you very well. But that's an option too. Other special occasions. So that's the link to that. The link to that is also in the description of the video. If you're listening on the replay, you can get to Doug's Cameo account that way and order one from him. And no, Dieter, I mean, yeah, no need to share the link. I've got the link in the description of the video. But thank you, though. To get the link to, if you want to get Doug's play or check it out, I highly recommend it. His play Deadline. That's in the description of the video at playscripts.com. So, yes, Dieter, Doc does a great job with FROMACADEMY. He really does. And we have amazing discussions on that every week. So looking forward to that. That will be Friday at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing that. Another round of the Nightmare Creatures. Because there's so much to cover. It would be impossible to just do that in one night and cover that whole theme. I wonder what happened to Scarlet. Maybe her service went down or her internet or something. But so we started with like 5 people, and now we're down to 2. Anyway, that was a lot of fun, and
there was some great content, a lot of great theories that you guys were talking about today or tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think it went awesome. I think that the news about From being filmed now is invigorating the fandom. So everyone's getting more excited again. Not that we weren't into it before, because we've been doing From themed lives since the season ended. But I definitely see a renewed enthusiasm going on right now, which is awesome. It's awesome to see. I've been waiting. I mean, you just have to throw the fans a bone and give us a little bit. All we got were just some actors in front of their trailers saying they're filming, but it's exciting. It starts sparking ideas and conversations again. So
yeah, the fan base is like super enthusiastic when it comes to From, and obviously Julie B's fans are really, really passionate. Number one.
Yeah, well, we're the crazies here, and I say that affectionately because I'm a proud crazy. I'm one of the crazies, the diehard fans. We like to theory craft year round and discuss the show. So I wear that title with pride, and everyone else here should too. I think it's awesome to be a diehard Fromaholic, because it's such an intellectually stimulating show. This is not mindless TV. This is not the idiot box of the past. TV has gotten a lot more psychological, a lot more thought-provoking, cinematic, kind of like elevated horror movies in recent years. TV has become more elevated. Not all of it. You've still got a lot of nonsense, a lot of mindless garbage, but I love seeing more thought-provoking series now, and that's why, I mean, that's all I do on this channel. I mean, I'm not going to come on here and talk about, I'm sorry if there are any fans of this here, but I'm not going to come on here and talk about like the Real Housewives of wherever, or I don't even know if that show's on anymore, but like you know, some stupid, mindless thing like that. Thankfully, TV has been elevated to a whole other level of depth and intellectual content. So there's so much out there. I mean, I started the channel on From, but then I thought, well, I don't want to just cover From as much as I love it. That will always be the centerpiece of the channel. As long as this show is running, I want to do year-round lives for it. I don't want to ever stop doing that. But I love covering other things. I loved covering Severance. I loved covering The Handmaid's Tale through scripted videos. The Last of Us was a lot of fun to do live streams about, because this community is so awesome and fun that even though that was a pretty big letdown, season 2, we still had amazing discussions and I loved it. It was a blast. And then there's, I mean, Duster. Duster is a whole different kind of show, but it's also really thought-provoking. I wasn't expecting so much mystery to be involved. And so I'm finding it more complex than I ever expected. And I love that.
And it just happened organically, like the theories and the mystery. It kind of just grew right before our eyes. And then we had a discussion about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the great thing about this. When you start bouncing ideas off each other, you can spark new theories in real time. This is what we did last week. And that's the theory video that I'm currently working on. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make sure I wrap up here earlier than usual tonight so that I can try to get that video done before the new episode of Duster airs, which will be Thursday night. It's already technically Thursday now. The time gets away from me. It's crazy. Thursday night, the new episode of Duster drops, which will be the penultimate episode of the season at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll do a watch party in the Discord as usual. And I have this theory video that I really want to get done before that airs. So I'm going to be prioritizing that for sure. I have a theory on the theory video coming up that's going to be on what really happened to Joey, how I think he's connected to Xavier, and it will be based on the collaborative theory crafting that you and I did, Carl. So it'll be, I mean, it's our theory, really. We came up with it organically together. So I'm going to try my best to get that done and released today.
Well, thanks for that credit. But it's JulieBDeepDives, not CarlDeepDives. But thank you.
But you were part of it. So I give credit where credit is due. You were part of that theory crafting, the crafting of that theory, rather. So yeah.
Thank you.
So you're going to be credited in the video for sure. So yeah, Samuel, From is the GOAT show right now. Yes. I could not agree more. He said, no show has gotten me more hyped since Heroes and Lost. Yeah. I've never seen Heroes. So now that's the second time Heroes was brought up in a live I've done this week. So maybe I missed something. Did you watch Heroes, Carl?
Yeah, I liked it. It was pretty good. But it suffers from a lot of what these shows that we cover lately, or some of the shows that we cover, that it kind of ended kind of weak, I thought, on its last season.
Yeah. I heard that too. Like it started off amazing and then it fell off. Everyone was into it. It was a highly successful, popular show, but yeah, I don't know. The concept of it just didn't really appeal to me. Was that the one with, who was the star of that? I'm trying to remember. That wasn't Hayden. What's her name? Is it the star of that?
I know she went on to do like a show called like Nashville or something.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of her, but
yeah, I don't remember her name, but the guy that plays Spock was in it, right? That's Zachary Quinto, isn't it? Isn't that his name?
Yes. Yeah. Zachary. And fun fact, he used to date my second cousin, Matt. I mean, not Matt. my second cousin, Jonathan Groff. He's the ex-boyfriend of my second cousin, Zachary Quinto. Zachary Quinto. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
right.
they dated for a while. So, yeah, Jonathan Groff, the one who did the theater. Yeah, like I remember they were a couple, and I don't know who Jonathan is with now at the moment, but it was kind of, I think it was tough a little bit on his family. Like this whole thing, like he came from a Mennonite background. His grandparents were still staunch Mennonites, and there he is, Jonathan. I'm digressing a bit, but Jonathan was in Spring Awakening, which is like loaded with sexual content, and his family took a bus from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, out to New York to see him, but they couldn't bring his Mennonite grandma because she would have been horrified by all the sex scenes in it and stuff. Yeah, I forget how he came up earlier, but we were talking about him earlier too. Threatening superheroes with pistols never made sense to me in that show. Oh yeah, they had like superhero powers. Those people on Heroes, yeah. Ruined by the writer's strike. Yeah. I think the writer's strike screwed up a lot of shows, for sure. Thanks, Dieter. He said the best thing that happened last year is Julie creating this community. It was certainly the best thing that happened for me last year. Last year would have been the worst year of my life if it wasn't for this channel. It was the worst year of my life until I created this channel. It saved the whole year for me. So yeah, I second that, Dieter, and thanks for saying that. Doc said, are they aliens? Oh, so here's his this is his pitch for, or like, I guess elevator pitch, or a teaser for Friday nights from Academy. Are they aliens? Are they jinn? Are they Isharat? I don't know how to say that. Are they vampires? Are they eldritch creatures? Find out Friday how these all connect when I can positively, absolutely, inconclusively reveal what they really are. Okay, well, that's a good hook. I know I'm sold. You know, I'll be there. It's my show anyway, so I'll be there. But yeah, that sounds awesome, Doc. You're doing an amazing job with these, and it's a lot of fun. I love our From Academy nights. So I don't know how long we're going to be continuing with the nightmare creature theme, but just stay tuned because this is going to be an ongoing series. We have a lot of stuff to cover, and it'll be fun. We'll have fun with it. Please hit the like. I don't think I've said that enough tonight. Please hit the like button to help people find the stream. That would be much appreciated, and it helps with the algorithm. So please hit the like. Yeah, the crazies. The crazies. I can't take credit for that, for the original usage of that in terms of talking about the From community, because I heard Geek Academy say that when he was doing his rewatch. He's like, now I'm one of the crazies, and then he dissects the hell out of the episode. So yeah, I'm proud to say I'm one of the crazies too, and all of us are. And I don't mean that as an insult. We're intellectually stimulated by this show, and it's awesome. It's awesome. I love that we're this passionate and deep into the weeds with the theory crafting. So. I don't think that's a negative at all. Now, again, if we were diving into like Desperate Housewives, or I don't know, that's an old show, but like the Real Housewives of whatever. Okay, I wouldn't be so proud to be obsessed with that year round. But this kind of show, it sparks really interesting discussions on psychology, philosophy, history, mythology. It's not just about the TV show itself. You get into all kinds of fascinating discussions and debates, such as free will versus destiny, and all kinds of interesting ideas. So ultimately, we wind up talking about all kinds of fascinating ideas, and not just the TV show itself. So yeah, I see nothing wrong with being one of the crazies when it comes to this show. Dieter has a new cameo from Hannah that I'm going to show. There's a movie called The Crazies. I never heard of that. Trace, a badass movie, huh?
And
Carl,
like
you ever hear that?
horror, yeah, it's like a horror movie about a whole town that like turns on itself.
Oh, really? Interesting.
It has to do with if it's the one I'm thinking of, it has to do with like a military base doing some experiments on some chemical weapons, and it kind of leaks into the town.
Oh, so they lose their minds? Okay.
Basically, they start like killing each other.
Oh, interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of it. How old is that movie?
It's pretty old. I think it got remade. So I think there was a movie either in the 70s or the 80s, and then I think it got redid in the like early 2000s. That's just a guess off the top of my head.
Okay. Cool. Doc said here, Julie creating this channel. Julie creating this channel is the best thing that's happened in my life in the past few years. Oh, wow, Doc. That really means a lot. I'm so happy that it made such an impact on your life like that. Wow. Aw. That's amazing. I'm so glad. I'm just so happy that I could make a difference in anyone's life through this channel. I started this channel at the lowest point in my life, feeling completely useless, and useless not only to other people but to myself. I couldn't even fix myself and what's wrong with me, let alone help anyone else. But I feel like this channel last year gave me purpose, and I'm just so happy if it can make a difference in anyone else's life like that. That just is. That means the world to me. I'm so glad. You're an amazing person. I am so glad I met you. I'm so grateful to have made a friend like you, Doc. You are just so sweet and so kind. I appreciate you so much. So glad you found us and we connected.
You've touched a lot of people, Julie, with this community that you've created. You've brought a lot of joy to everyone, and I can second that emotion about it being something great that's happened to me in the past year. Absolutely. Thank you for what you've done.
It's my pleasure. Literally, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to, if I can make a positive difference in anybody's life like that. That just makes me so happy, and it's a pleasure. It's been, this channel has completely changed my life, and I'm grateful for you, Carl. I'm grateful for Doc. I'm grateful for Dieter and everybody in this amazing community who came into my life when I was at my most alone, the most alone that I had ever been. I certainly don't feel alone anymore. It's been just my mom and me, and now got this whole family, this whole found family. It's a beautiful thing. Dinosaurs for Doc. I love it. Look at all the dinosaurs. It's great. Oh, it's awesome. So I'll show so Dieter has this cameo that he got from Hannah. Also, I have something else to show too. Damn, I wish I had done this earlier when Doug was here. But I got something I wanted to show on camera that was sent to me by Tabitha. I'll have to show it also, like maybe next week when she's actually here. But for now, let me show Hannah's cameo for Dieter. Take a look at this.
Dieter, it's Hannah Jeremy here, Julie Matthews on From. I'm really sorry to hear that you've been struggling with your mental health lately, feeling down a lot because of many things, hard life being a parent, husband, and work. It's a lot. I fully understand and can sympathize with your situation. I also struggle with my mental health. I feel like everybody these days is just either anxious or depressed, and it's hard. This current world we're living in can be very isolating, and then that was what creates the bad feelings. But what my therapist tells me and what I will share with you is what helps me when I'm feeling down or very anxious, because I suffer from anxiety, is just people. You say that you're a husband, you say that you're a father. This is really big, and these connections are so important in your life. And even if these things can be causing you stress, like a child, I know that children, not personally, but I know that children can be very stressful sometimes, but it's these connections and the people that we love the most that are the most important things in the world. And so, yeah, keeping close with your friends. I know you say that your friends here, Julie, Justin, Carl, and Loriella, they really help you, and they've had great conversations with you. And I'm so glad to hear that you do have a good support system like that, because that is like most important when you're feeling down, is just to have people to talk to that love and care about you. And also what's really important is exercise, going outside, getting fresh air. That's really big, just because I know it can be so easy to just sort of stay indoors and like hunker down and lock yourself in, especially because with my anxiety, I'm like, I can't go outside, I'm scared. But breaking out of that cycle is where you're really going to actually find the growth. So that's just my 2 cents on that. That's what I try to do when I'm down. It's not a cure. I wish it was, but it helps for sure. And what also helps is having great friends. Again, JulieBDeepDives on YouTube channel. That's so cool that you guys are friends and you can share the love of From together. I wonder if From is the best thing to be watching if you're not feeling too good. But if it makes you feel better, then power to you, you know? But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much to all the people that mentioned. And yeah, I hope you get better soon. I hope you feel better soon, and take care of yourself. Bye.
Well, that was so sweet. Hannah seems like such a kind, lovely young woman, and everyone else in the cast, they all just seem like amazing human beings. That was so sweet. And she gave my channel a shout out too. That's so cool. It's like she said it as if it's a channel she remembers, like that she actually was aware of. I know she made me a cameo before that Dieter gifted me, and he had told her about my channel, so maybe she actually remembered it, because from the way she said it, she was like, "Oh, you're connected with JulieBDeepDives channel or something." That was a trip. That was lovely. That was lovely. Hannah is awesome, and her cameo for me is really sweet too. All of the cameos that they make, they're just so thoughtful and kind. Everyone in this cast, they really go the extra mile to make it special and thoughtful. And I think that I can't recommend it enough. You know, like it's worth it. When Cameo first came out, I remember thinking, oh, this is silly. You know, all these famous people can just, get paid to record a message for somebody they don't even know. But wow, it's now that I've become part of a fandom and really admire these actors so much, getting a message from them, especially the way that they put this time and effort into making it special and personal, it is a beautiful thing. It's a treasure, the way that they create these and the thought they put into them. And but it's not always like this. Just buyer beware. If you're looking at cameos, I can't vouch for anybody outside of the cast of From. I've seen cameos from other celebrities who just look like they're reading off a piece of paper and don't even put any effort into it. That's not the case with this cast. They actually put time and effort into making it special and heartfelt. They're really talking to you as a person, as an individual. And I know Doug personally, like, he really, like, if anything, he worries too much about making it just right and saying something that makes it worth the money that these people are paying. He edits them. He goes the extra mile to really make it worth every cent. And these are worth every penny. That great gifts for yourself or for somebody else. Yeah, I can't recommend them enough. Yeah, she shouted you out, Carl. That was cool.
Yeah, I feel famous now.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, that was really sweet. Yeah, and she said Justin. That's Doc. If anybody was not aware, Doc's name is actually Justin. I believe she said Justin, right? Am I so tired? I'm hallucinating. But Carl, didn't she say Justin?
I think so. I think she said that.
I think she said Julie, Carl, Justin, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be Doc. That would be our friend Doc. His name is Justin, in case you guys didn't know. Anyway, Dieter said, Pandecolima, you're welcome. You guys talked a lot with me already, and I wanted to thank you. Well, that's awesome. That was really cool of you to include Carl and Justin in that. Yeah. Name twin. Yeah, she called me in the cameo that she made for me. She called me. She said, "Hey, Julie, it's Julie, name twin." That was cute. It was cute. She's a sweetheart. They're all so kind. I didn't realize, you never know who might be dealing with their own mental health issues, including anxiety. I look at someone like Hannah, who's doing so well with acting, and she seems so outgoing. I never would have imagined that she's dealing with anxiety, but don't judge a book by its cover. You never know what someone is actually dealing with. They could seem like the happiest person, joking, outgoing, confident. You have no idea what demons they're actually struggling with. There could be depression, anxiety, CPTSD, chronic pain. You'd be shocked. Like, when you really get talking to people like I have through this channel, and I meet people who seem like, wow, they have it all. They have it all together. And then you find out, you get to know them and become friends, and you find out, wow, they're actually struggling a lot. So I say all that just to say, be kind. Just be kind to people, because you have no idea what they're dealing with. And I'm preaching to the choir because you guys are already kind. This is more of a message for outsiders. Any lurkers who might be listening in, who I don't know, but I just wish that the world were a kinder place, because we never know what cross someone is actually bearing privately, and so it just costs nothing to be kind. Just be kind is the moral of the story. The world would be a better place if more people thought that way, and just give people the benefit of the doubt. Don't jump to conclusions and make negative assumptions about people you don't know that well. It's happened to me. It happened to me when I started my channel, and I got over it, thankfully, and I made real friends. And I'm thankful for that. Doc said, do you think I would be refunded if I submitted a cameo request asking an actor if they think their nation is prepared for invasion by extraterrestrials with giant monsters offering bad deals? Probably. Yeah. Because the thing with cameo is sometimes they don't say yes to just anything. If there's a cameo request that they don't really know how to fulfill, or they're not comfortable with it, sometimes you get a refund. So yeah, so I don't know, Doc, you could give it a try. It's worth a shot. My human host name is Justin. Gotcha. Okay, it's his human host. It's not actually Doc. Noted. He is irrelevant. Yes. Okay. Justin is irrelevant. Doc has invaded Justin. The invasion of the body snatchers. Is it like that? That's one of my favorite movies, by the way. That's a classic movie that I actually have seen, and I love that. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is amazing. And Dieter said, and more cameos will come for you, Julie. If people don't donate, I'll pay for them myself. We need a new compilation. Teacher, you don't have to do that. Really, you've paid it. You've done enough. You've bought enough cameos. I'm grateful. You're very generous, but please, you don't need to do that. And I already have quite a compilation. One hell of a compilation. Martin said, being a young actress in the game, damn, I can imagine that pressure. She's a phenomenal actress. Yeah, she is. She is. She's great. Yeah, Dieter, I wish all of you guys were closer. This is the bittersweet part of finding a family online, this found family. Unfortunately, we're scattered all over the country and around the world. And it's very rare that you actually meet someone through this type of medium that's geographically close to you. I only know of 3, well, maybe 4. There's Phil, the Issues Guy, Tony's co-host. He lives somewhere in Massachusetts, so he's not that far from me geographically. Of course, our friend Doc is close to me in Massachusetts also, which is amazing. And hopefully we can, I can get my head on straight, fix my sleep schedule so we can get together. And then there's Jeremy is from the Boston area, and then there's some guy in Connecticut. His name is Rick. I haven't seen him around in a while. I think he shows up more when there's a new season. We'll probably see him come back then. But yeah, other than that, everyone is scattered everywhere. Like, I wish we could all get together and hang out. Maybe if we get lucky, Tony will do his mini convention, and our core diehard little family can get together. Tony's Familia and our Fromaholics, we can get together and at least meet once. I would love that. I could be on a panel. That would be an honor. So I hope that happens. We'll have to wait and see. 5 minutes of Lord of the Rings canon always heals me as soon as I hear that Shire music. Oh, Martin, I've never actually seen any Lord of the Rings stuff, but I've never been a big fan of fantasy, to be honest. But it's something I would try. I've just never seen any of those. I think I might have seen the first movie with my dad a long time ago, but I can't quite remember. I was like a teenager at the time.
You should watch those movies, Julie. They're really nice, very profound, I think.
Yeah, maybe I should give fantasy another chance. My taste in movies and TV has changed a lot over the years, so who knows, I might like fantasy now if I give it a shot. When I was a teenager, it just was not my thing. I should have been obsessed with Harry Potter like everybody else my age when those books came out, and it just did not grab me. I just could not get into Harry Potter. So, it says, he said I invaded my human host via probing device. God, Doc. What an image. Oh, Christine said I have chronic pain. Yeah, lots and lots of people in this fandom, I've noticed when I get talking to you guys, you have chronic pain or other chronic illness, or you're caring for someone, you're a caretaker for someone who's got some kind of health issue, or you're struggling through something. Like, that seems to be a really common thread in the From community. And I think that we just gravitate toward this show because it's a catharsis. It's a show about people who are struggling to find their purpose in the midst of a nightmare, a living nightmare. And they're trying to survive and figure out a way to thrive in the midst of it. So I think that's why we gravitate toward a show like this. I don't think it's a coincidence that so many people in this fandom are struggling more than the average person. I know everybody has their problems, but let's be real. Some of us have much more serious problems than others. And this fandom tends to be in that category, a lot of us. So I know that's what hooked me into the show. I found it cathartic to watch, and also because I felt trapped in my own life, and I feel trapped in this body that's full of pain. But it's also inspiring because I see how these people are finding their purpose despite being in a nightmare of their own. Yeah, Christine, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. It's rough. I know that I've had chronic pain for 23 years since I was 14, which gives away my age, but you can do the math, but that's okay. Yeah, the debilitating pain has only been like this for a few years, but it's been life-altering pain since I was 14. So I know what that's like. Christine, I hope you're getting the kind of care that you need to treat that pain. And we're here for you. If you ever need support, if you want to come in here and vent, please feel free to do it. Don't feel like you're going to bring anybody down or derail the conversation. Please, anytime anybody in this community needs support, if you're struggling, just come in the chat and reach out and we'll talk about it. We'll stop what we're doing. I don't care if we're breaking down an episode. If you're struggling through something and you need support and, advice or just a sounding board, you just need people to talk to who care, we're here for you. Just reach out. We'll be here for you anytime. You guys have been here for me. You've been my my support system for we're closing in on a year now. September will be a year since I started the channel. So the least that I can do is encourage all of you guys to, share whatever you're going through. You know plenty about my struggles. I'm just glad to see people opening up all the time in this chat and supporting each other. That's the kind of community I wanted to create here. So I'm proud of you guys. Like this is amazing. We need more kind people like the folks in this community. We need more of you in the world. Because I see you supporting each other all the time, and it's amazing. Trace, I started getting pain after I got spinal fusion surgery when I was 14. Never had pain before that. I got back pain, then upper back pain, then neck pain, and that was all I had for many years. And about 3 years ago, I developed debilitating lower body nerve pain, and nobody understands what's wrong with me. So that's way worse than anything I ever had in my back and neck. So yeah, it's a long, complicated story, but this channel is great therapy, and I appreciate all of you guys and having this creative outlet for my ideas. It's been amazing. It's been truly life-changing. If it wasn't for this channel, I wouldn't have met incredible people who transformed my life in countless ways. I feel like I was meant to be here right where I am right in this moment. This was like, okay, it's finally my turn for something good to happen in my life after so many years of getting knocked down and just kicked while I'm down again and again and again. I deserve something good in my life. I really do. And I hope that I wish that for all of you too, who are struggling out there. Like, I hope that you can get the support or the help that you need.
I feel the same way, Julie. I feel like I'm exactly where I needed to be.
Yeah. I 100% believe that you are where you were meant to be with us here, with me. So Christine, yeah, so spine, yeah. So I know what that's about. Yeah, I know how difficult that is. I had scoliosis. That's what started my whole pain crisis. So yeah, sorry you're dealing with that. And you're welcome, Christine. Anytime you want to come in here and just vent, or if you don't want to vent and you're just here to take your mind off it, we're here for that too. Whatever it is that anybody needs, we're here for you, whatever we can do. And that's how it feels, like a nightmare. Yeah, right? I remember before I started this channel, I was saying, it feels like I'm living in a nightmare. Instead of waking up from a nightmare, I was waking up into a nightmare every single day. And it's exhausting, Christine. Yeah, like Christine said, And then I found this show and I don't think it was a coincidence, because I was talking like that for a long time. I'm waking up into a nightmare. I'm living a nightmare. Then I found the show I went down the rabbit hole with that. I started this channel, and my life isn't just a nightmare anymore. It's still a battle every single day, but it's not a nightmare. It's not like an endless nightmare anymore. I have so much more in my life now that is now keeping me going and helping me survive and bringing me actual joy again. So I can't thank everybody enough. I wouldn't be in this position now if it wasn't for all of your support. Everybody in the chat, everybody who's listening, even if you're not chatting, anyone who's supported my channel in any way, subscribing, listening to the lives, watching my videos, I can't thank you all enough, because it led me exactly where I needed to be in my life right now. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of your support. I mean, I'd be nowhere. I'd still be sitting in this room by myself, just passively watching TV alone. That's where I was at when I watched just watching it by myself. And yeah, I don't have to be alone anymore, thanks to this community, and it's a beautiful thing.
It's like it was meant to be. It's like the universe guided you to this point, don't you think?
Yeah, I believe that. I really believe that. There are too many uncanny things, too many minute details that had to fall into place to get me to this point for it to be a coincidence. There's just it's just too much. I don't believe it's a coincidence at all. So yeah, the universe works in mysterious ways. I never expected anything good to happen for me again, but here I am. Thanks, Dieter. Yeah, maybe medical science will advance and figure out what is going on to help people like me and Christine. A lot of people who are chronic pain warriors who can't get enough relief and don't know where to turn. There needs to be more research. And anyway, yeah, you're welcome, Christine. You're always welcome to vent here, and we're here for you. Teeter said, let's all just sell all our stuff and move in with each other. We buy a hotel. Now there's a fantasy, like, yeah, we all just move in together, like, you know, just like the island of misfit toys. I'm not calling us all misfits. I mean that in an affectionate way, but misfits in that a lot of us are struggling more than the average person, and we could all just get together and like live in a whole compound. that would be the dream, if only. But we can come together online, and these friendships are no less valid just because they're online. They're no less valid. And we watch movies and shows together. As a matter of fact, in the Discord tonight, just to segue into this, we're going to be watching the next episode of Duster when it drops at 9 p.m. Eastern. It'll be episode 7, the penultimate episode of the season. So if you want to watch with us, there's the link to the Discord if you're not in there already. We can also talk in there. We have lots of channels to keep the conversations going, and all for support. That's another way that if you need a support system, you want friends to talk to, there are channels for that in my Discord, and you can DM each other. So anyone who's feeling alone, it really helps. It really helps me feel less alone this past year. So there's that. And I'm gonna wrap this up now. I'm gonna try my best to get my Duster video out within the day. At least by Thursday evening, I want to have it released before the new episode comes out. So I'm going to be getting to work on that. I have a theory video coming out on what really happened to Joey. So if you watch Duster, keep an eye out for that, or pass it along to someone you know who does watch Duster. I don't know how it's going to do in the algorithm. So every view and like and comment really does help. I've never done a Duster scripted video before. So, so I'd appreciate it if you see it pop up in your notifications. If you could maybe just view it at least 30 seconds counts as a view. A few minutes is even better. You let it play. And yeah, hit the like button, throw an emoji or something in the comment section, and that will trigger the algorithm. Help me push it out to people who watch Duster so they can find it. That would be much appreciated. And our next live will be Friday night at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time with Doc. Our next installment of the Nightmare Creatures Deep Dive. So if you have any theories on that, check out our Discord. And if you want us to discuss your theory, you can put it in the From Academy channel. And eventually we'll get to it. We're not going to get to those theories Friday, but maybe next Friday. This is going to be an ongoing series on the Nightmare Creatures. So yeah, we'd love to hear all of your ideas. Steve, oh yeah, you missed Dougie Fresh. He'll be back though. And the whole episode, yes, because I need to get going now. But yeah, we had a great live. The replay will still be here. You can rewind and check it out. And sorry you didn't make it, but there will definitely be more. Doug isn't leaving us, at least not now, not anytime soon. He'll still be around. So he'll be back. So yeah. We always miss you and your wit, Steven's Flaming Laser Spork. The name always cracks me up. 35 likes, yes. Please hit the like if you've forgotten to hit the like on the way out. I would appreciate it. Steve said I was a little late. The sacrificial virgin chicken of summoning store was closed, and I had to go to a store much further away. Oh, okay. That explains it, Steve. Well, this time I was actually close to being on time, so nobody had to summon me. It wasn't bad. I made it maybe just a few minutes late, but thanks, Dieter. He said I'll play it till the end and spam the comment section. Thank you. Yes. Whatever we can do to help trigger the algorithm for that Duster video, I'd really appreciate. Likes, views, and comments, all three of those things help a lot. Even if you don't watch Duster, just letting it play, yeah, that helps out a lot. Trust me. Every single like, view, and comment counts, and they add up. Hi, Just Me. Finally, I'm free and gonna rewatch the stream. Always nice to see you. We had a nice conversation with Doug as always, and really interesting theory discussions. Grant joined us for a while, and we had some call-ins too, so it was a fun one. And yeah, maybe next week Doug will be back again, so we'll keep you posted on when he'll be back the next time. Anyway, with that, I think we should head out. So let's see, anything else I'm forgetting? Next week will be our next Duster Live. Will be back at its usual night, by the way. It will be on Monday, not Tuesday. So yeah, if you watch Duster, we'll be covering that at 11:55 p.m. Eastern on Monday night. I might decide to move the time earlier. I'll keep you posted on that. But either way, it will be Monday night. But our next live on the channel will be From Academy with Doc and Scarlet, and Carl here will be here discussing the Nightmare Creatures, week 3 on that. And we'll be getting into what their potential inspiration for the Nightmare Creatures could be. That'll be the topic of the night. So come share your ideas with us. We'd love to hear them. Good night, Doc. Sweet nightmares. Yes. Oh, hey, Wind Whispers. Thank you very much for the compliment. Great live as always. Good night, all. Well, good night to you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And if anyone is so inclined, there are ways to support the channel. Since I'm not monetized and I don't have memberships, if anyone wants to support, I do have a Cash App and a Venmo. Those are in the description of this video. And there's a PayPal that Dieter set up on my behalf, has his name on it, but the funds right now would be going toward my channel expenses and the treadmill replacement that I need to get. After that, it'll be going toward a laptop. So, and there's a new one. There's Dieter set up this buy me a coffee thing in my name. I never knew what that was. I literally thought it was just buying people coffee. So I guess apparently not. It's just another way to get donations. So thank you for setting that up, Dieter. That's another way that people can support if anyone is so inclined. Any little bit helps. I know times are tough, but anyway, the description of the video will have all that info in it too. You're on the replay. And good night, Trace. Thank you. You're awesome too. Thank you so much for your support. You're such a nice person. I really appreciate you. Everybody is so nice here. You're the best, all of you. Thank you. Take care, Dieter. Well, you won't have to miss us for long because we'll do another live, 2 nights from now. So we'll be back soon enough. Until the end of the year, everything goes towards Julie's treadmill. Okay, yes. After that, the laptop. Well, thank you so much, Dieter. I really appreciate that. And yeah, good night. Good night, Julie, Scarlet, Carl, Dieter, and everyone, says Doc. Have a good night, Doc. Looking forward to the live Friday night. And yeah, if you watch Duster, keep an eye out for my video, hopefully today. And give it a like and a view. Much appreciated. Thanks for being here, Carl, as always. And
you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. Always a pleasure. You fit right in here. You're a natural at this stuff. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night or a good morning. And I think Dieter uploaded a new Cameo compilation. Let's see. I'll play. What is this? David Dieter Cameo. Okay, and then there's the Cameo compilation. I'll end with this one. And then my little intro outro thing. So have a good night or a good morning, everybody. Thank you guys so much for changing my life. I can't thank you all enough. In every way, my life has changed because of this community. So have a great day, a great night, and I'll see you on the next one.
Julie, hi, it's me. Why am I screaming? It's me, David Alpay.
Hey, Julie. It is also Julie here, name twin.
Hi, JulieBDeepDives. It is Avery who plays Sarah on From. I just want to say thank you so much for watching and supporting the show, and I also want to give a shout out to your co-host, Scarlet of Many Names.
Hey, Julie.
Hi, Julie B. Julie B. Scotty McCord here. How are you? Hi. Finally, I get to connect with Julie B. Deep Dives.
Julie B. My child. It is I, Father Khatri. But Julie B., I understand you are rocking it on the old YouTubes, and I appreciate you. We, as a Fromely, appreciate you like you wouldn't believe. And we are so thankful for everything you do and all the love and energy that you put out there into the universe.
Hey, Julie B. The man in yellow here, along with his alter ego, the mini MIY. We just wanted to let you know that you're in our thoughts.
Julie, you're awesome. You work so hard. I wish we were friends in high school. You could have helped me with my, literature essays, my critical essays, because you are so deep and thorough. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'll see you around.
Thank you for what you're doing, and keep at it, and I know you got this. You know you got this. Keep at it. Take care.
Congratulations to you guys on all your success of your YouTube channel, and I'm wishing you all the best in 2025.
Anyway, Julie, I just want to say, keep going, keep on keeping on. You got this.
holding Julie B, protecting Julie B. The big muscle car hugs. There's a bottle tree. Keeping you protected. That's for you. That's for you and for all your brilliance and for everything that you've given from and helped make it what it is. So, Julie B, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for season 4. We'll see you in season 4. It's coming. Hold tight. Maybe binge the show until we get there. Dive deeper. Julie B's Deeper Dive. You're doing great. It's amazing. Bless you. And we'll see you in season 4.
Father Khatri thanks you for watching. Sean Majumder, the actor who couldn't be here right now, but he wanted to let you know he's very thankful. And I hope you feel better. I know you will. Keep your chin up. And I wish you all the best. Take care. Season 4 is going to be fucking bananas. Be well.
Listen, kiddo. Like the man said, we're here for you 24/7. Anything you need, you just get on the blower. And hey, don't take any crap. Anybody gives you any grief, you just tell them. They're going to have to answer to this guy. Couldn't have said it better myself. Take care, sweetheart. We'll talk soon. See you later.
Stream and drive.
Before I go, one more thing. I wanted to do this when Tabitha was here, but she wasn't feeling well. So I thought maybe I should do this later, wait till next time, but I'll show it now and then I'll show it again when Tabitha is here. She did something really sweet for me. And when she was at the camp, she had this printed. This was I don't know, it's hard to see, I know, because of the ring light and the glare, but she had this picture printed, this AI image that Dieter generated. See, there we go. That's a better angle. It's me and Boo. There's Boo. You can see Boo. Where is she? Right there. And it's me walking to the lighthouse near a faraway tree. There's the cat. Dieter made this. Tabitha printed it out. And when she went to the camp, she had David Alpay and Scott McCord sign it. So that was amazing. And my silly brain fog got in the way of me bringing it up last week when I was on camera and I could have shown it. So here it is. It's amazing. What an amazing surprise. So kind of her to think of me and do that. I know it's a little hard to see, but it says down here, it says, wait a minute. Let's see if I can get an angle that you can see. It says Julie. Yeah, right there. It says on the left, it says Julie, and then Scott McCord signed it right under it. And then to the side, that's the spirit animal that Victor draws for, that Scott draws for Victor. That's the owl. That's the spirit animal owl with a heart that's protecting me. He also drew me a picture like that when he did a cameo and he wrote Julie B on it. Well, there it is again. And this time I actually have a physical copy that he drew. That's what Scott did. And then David, sounding just like Jade. Let me see if I can do it so you can actually see without a glare. It says Julie. Why can't I do it where there's no glare? Hold on. There we go. It says Julie, exclamation point. Happy birthday, exclamation point. David Alpay, exclamation point. That is so Jade. I swear to God, David Alpay is basically Jade. I can literally hear Jade's voice yelling, Julie, happy birthday, David Alpay. Like, he put an exclamation point even after his own name. What a funny, hilarious, talented actor he is. Amazing. And he signed it. And the great thing is, you can actually, it's legible. So you can read a lot of people's autographs are chicken scratch. You can actually read it that it says David Alpay. And you can read, it's harder to see on here, but I can tell that it's Scott McCord's name right down there as well. And this last thing, David drew a picture of a little monster eating away the pain in my legs, which is hilarious and sweet. Because, you know, Dieter had informed David Alpay and Scott and Sean Majumder about the pain in my legs. So they're well aware of it at this point. And he recently made me a cameo where he talked about how, you know, how I should deal with the pain in my legs and making light of it in a therapeutic way, just like Sean did. So I loved that. I thought that was hilarious. So I've got a little hand-drawn monster and a little hand-drawn spirit animal owl from Scott McCord and David Alpay. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys because just another example of the kindness of this community that just blows me away. Just incredible. So Tabitha, shout out to Tabitha. Thank you so much for doing that. I'll show it again next week. Hopefully when she's actually still here, I'll show it again. And when more people are here. But I just couldn't let any more time pass without doing that because it was a really kind gesture for her to think of me while she was at the camp. And since I couldn't be there, she did that for me. Maybe next year I'll go in myself. I'll go see what I can do. I don't know. My pain is a big obstacle, but we'll see. I guess you never know. And thank you, Dieter, for making that beautiful image that she printed out. So anyway, so cute. Yeah, right, Doc? So I'm glad I didn't sign off without doing that at least. And I'll show it again next time when there are more folks here and Tabitha's here too. Next week when I'm on camera again. So yeah. Anyway, now it's going to be my sign off for real. We'll see you on the next live Friday night at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, and watch out for my duster video, hopefully later today. Thank you guys again, and have a good day or a good night. See you next time.
Yeah. That's a theory creaking open, baby.
Yo, welcome to the screen where the plot gets bent. Julie B deep dives, not just for content. She don't react, she dissects those threads from the lens, catching clues y'all missed when the credits end. What you know about freeze framing frames and while you blinking, she building an evidence drum. Got a notebook bigger than the lore itself, and a chat full of nerds with a mental health shelf. Yeah, she sees the glitch, peep the double cross. You just watching TV, she talk to the boss. Every theory and thesis, no throwaway guess. While y'all on season 1, she in season X. Said rewind it, slow it, zoom in, enhance. Julie B caught the symbol in the window glance. While you tweeting what just happened like a clown, she already made a flow chart, color coded breakdown.
They don't die like us. They don't vibe like us. They binge and they bounce. We revive that trust. They skip intros, we every frame. You watch shows, we decode the game. They don't die like us. Nah, they don't die like us.
She cracked Severance before y'all knew it was deep. Predicted the Last of Us deaths in her sleep. When the camera pans, she ain't blinking once. Catch a ghost in the glass, call it theory punch. Watch parties lit like apocalypse nights. Call-ins while they bringing alien rights.
Hey Julie, I think the trees are spies. Well, I have a spreadsheet that confirms that, guys.
Zoom in, boom in, she moving through clues. Spinning Discord in the courtrooms, Lord of views. Got miles of receipts. Time stands with heat. Every rewatch turns into a Reddit elite. You stuck on the surface, we beneath with maps. Cross-referencing lore with the rector's caps. If your fave show got secrets, don't be dumb. Julie got the chalkboard out in From's where it's from.
They don't dive like us. They don't vibe like us. They skim the edge. We inside that crust. They zone out, we zone in the pain. You say plot twist, we say nope, chain. They don't dive like us. Nah, they don't dive like us.
What's that?
That ain't a blooper, that's a plot thread. You thought it was a shadow? She thought it was a coded message from season 3. And she's probably right. Step this way if your mind's unbent. Step that way if your theories pay rent. Say Julie B, deep dive queen. Now zoom, scroll, theorize, pull. Ain't no rabbit hole safe once she got the clout.
They don't die.